please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Councilmember Daniele. Present. Councilmember Istvan. Here. Supervisor Albrecht. Here. Councilmember Foreman. Here. Councilmember Rye.
Here. Okay. I got 3 items for special consideration. I got one for a fund adopted budget for auction proceeds. I got one for a budget amendment for senior trip, and the last one for deal with the PD and Waterloo Central School District. I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include those 3. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We have to amend something else, too.
Yeah. What's that?
We have to amend something else.
When we get to the resolutions.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay. Thanks. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Next up is the acceptance of minutes from the town board regular meeting, July 19th.
Could I make a motion first?
Sure.
Under presentations,
Okay.
we have the Center for Prevention of Child Abuse is needed to postpone until the next meeting.
Okay.
Excuse me, Councilmember? I can't hear.
No, it's not. It's the mics. Presentation number 2, he wants a table.
To the next meeting.
I understand. I'm just,
Yeah.
it was difficult to hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just letting you know for the rest of the meeting.
9-6? Yeah, 9-6. Yes.
9-6.
They weren't ready tonight.
And we might as well supplement that with the Fishkill hoops. So we'll present both those as a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up is the public hearing. Public hearing for proposed local law amending chapter...
We've done the presentation?
Oh, I'm sorry, the presentation's first? All right, so what we're going to do right now is the... where is Eric? Eric, you here?
Eric?
Eric?
Eric from the rec center?
You're up, bud.
Dear Supervisor and members of the board, thank you for having us. My name is Eric Sackler, and I am a recreation assistant over at the Fishkill Rec here on behalf of Jason Mayetta. This summer, our Fishkill Summer Hoops program provided almost 520 young athletes the opportunity to learn and play basketball. The program is open to boys and girls as young as the age of 4 and to as old as recently graduated seniors of high school. All 5 weeks of our summer basketball camp were filled to capacity, and our basketball leagues fielded over 40 teams. Our Fishkill Summer Hoops program concluded on this past Saturday, August 12th, with our annual postseason tournament championship. We had 6 championship games, 1 for every age group. It was a day filled with a lot of excitement. Every game was close and came down to the wire. We even had 1 double overtime game. Each game started off with the introduction of each player along with the national anthem. We had the privilege of having 4 talented individuals perform the national anthem for each game. I will announce their name. If I believe only 1 showed up tonight, but I will announce all their names and they can come on up with me. Sarah Von Egypt, a recently graduated from the Royal Academy of Music in London. Emma Casado, a 6th grader from St. Martin de Porres. Jacqueline Spaccolari, a local resident whose kids have participated in various rec programs. And your former town board member, Kenya Gadsden, who finished the night off with a varsity division game.
Nice.
Now I would like to take the time to announce each coach to introduce their respective teams. Up first, I have Coach Dina Gabashi, whose Purple Tigers won the 3rd through 5th grade girls division. So if Dina could come on up and announce her team.
Thank you for the opportunity to announce my team who went from 3rd to 2nd to 1st place champions, who played sometimes back-to-back 2-hour games outside in the heat without complaints from 8 to 10 p.m. while I'm sure their parents wanted to be in bed. So I would like to first introduce Olivia Smallwood. who also won MVP. Gabriella Kennedy. Keone McDonald. Kylie Graham. And last but not least, my daughter, Navia Halafati. They did an amazing job, and thank you for the opportunity to coach them.
Outstanding.
Also coming with each age group, we had awards that we gave out for the girls and boys for their division. For the 3rd through 5th grade girls, our all-league team was Brianna Curcio, Olivia Smallwood, who stands next to me, Olivia Spadaro, Lucy Borsch, and Mary-Kate Veneman. We also gave out an all-defensive team that went to Magniola Fagardi, Abigail Johnson, Stella Orlando, and Olivia Spadaro. We also have another award called the Heart and Hustle Award. This went out to Sabrina Cabello, Haley Fallon, Kylie Graham, and Nia Moffett. And our most valuable players, I should say, went out to Addison C., that's all I have down for that, Olivia Spadaro, and again, Olivia Smallwood. So those were our awards for the 3rd through 5th grade girls division.
Outstanding.
Next was our modified girls division. The champions of this team was the Storm, and they were coached by Coach Eugene Vargas, who I don't believe is here tonight. So I will do the honor of announcing his team. If any of the girls are present, please come up and stand with me. Ava Burchard, Sophia Campbell, Taylor Chippendale, Kyla Johnson, Allison McNamara, Claire Partridge, Abigail Resnick, Mika Rykoff, and Ciara Lynn Vargas. And none are here. Now I will go over the awards for that age group. Our all-league for the 3rd through 5th grade girls was Ava Burchard, Taylor Chippendale, Claire Partridge, Alina Petnick, and Kylie Cameron. Our all-defensive team went out to Sophia Campbell, Grace Just, Gianna Nagel, Alina Petnick, Leah Johnson, and Emily Johnson. Our Heart and Hustle awards went out to Vivian Podolesky, Essen Sands, Aviana Tomlins, and Aviana Tomlins. And as for our Most Valuable Players awards, Gianna Nagel, Claire Partridge, and Taylor Chippendale. Next up, for the 3rd and 4th grade division, our champions were called the Green Machine. They were coached by Tony Marucci and Mike Resnichek. I believe Coach Tony is here, if he could come up and announce his team.
Thank you for having us here tonight. It was a great year. It was at the point where I had to beg kids to come out, to come out of the game because everyone just wanted to play the entire game at all times. So we have 5 of our 9 here tonight. We have Anthony DeMeo. This is my son Joey. He was the assistant coach as well, so he was even more involved than me. I have Colin Keeley. We have Glenn Skinner, Nolan Harley-Smith, and Nicholas Marucci.
Congratulations to the Green Machine on their championship. It was a very heartfelt game that came down to the wire. Some of the awards that were given out in that league were, for the all-league team, we had Anthony DeMeo, Kyrie McKenzie, Logan DeGilio, Jaden Lyons King, and Cole Partlow. The all-defensive team went out to Nicholas Marucci, Luke Resnichek, Kareem Dorsey, Logan DeGilio, and Carter Robinson. The Heart and Hustle awards went out to Nolan Harley-Smith, Jacob Delfino, and Logan DiGilio. And the Most Valuable Players Award went out to Logan DiGilio, Cole Partlow, Colin Keeley, and Glenn Skinner. And now for the winners of the 5th and 6th grade boys division. Their team was known as the Sizzling Shooters, and they were coached by Joe Suarez and Coach Gregory Jacobs. I will announce their team for them. Oh. There we go. For the Sizzling Shooters, they had John Abdo Suarez, Mikey Dunn, Ben Fury, Brandon Griffin, Gregory Jacobs, Carter Lamar, Quincy Revange, Will Rudner, Xavier Sanz, and Nathan Vinkira. As for their awards, it went out to All League, went out to Aiden and Jack McNamara, Tate Patterson, Ben Lamont, and Famous Hart. The All-Defensive team went out to Will Sexton, Jackson Hershey, George Weldon, Jeremy Ennist, and John Abdo Suarez. The Heart and Hustle was given to Gary Robert, Jackson Petnick, Jace Martino, and Gregory Jacobs standing next to me. Our Most Valuable Player Awards were William Gaspani, Evan DiBernardo, Mikey Dunn, and Johnny Abdo Suarez. Nextly was our 7th and 8th grade division. They were coached by Mike Smith. And they were known as the Celtics. Their game was a very intense game. It actually went into double overtime, sent to by a buzzer beater hit at the end of regulation. On their team was Marcus Brooks, Jake DeLuise, William Gaspari, AJ Hernandez, Daniel Lopez, Logan McWani, Jason Mercado, Mason Miller, and Hunter Smith. For their all-league team, for the 7th and 8th grade all-league awards, the all-league team went out to Sergio Bagnaro, Ari Bobert, Mitchell Cole III, Joey Marucci, Monty Quintana, and AJ Hernandez. The all-defensive team went out to Jonathan Jones, Kieran Lawler, Michael Boobert, Colin Brooks, and Mitchell Cole III. The Heart and Hustle Award was given out to Kieran Lawler, Gavin Lyons King, and Ben Siemens. And the Most Valuable Player Awards were Chris Lee, Mitchell Cole, Hunter Smith, and AJ Hernandez. And lastly, and certainly not least, the high school boys. The high school boys division was the team that won that league was known as the Knicks. They were coached by Dave Partridge. Upon winning their championship, they set a first for Fishkill Hoops history, and for many to come. We have now begun allowing the high school boys division to cut down the nets after the winning of their championship. Yeah.
Is that in the budget?
It would take, we'd be there all day if we let every team do it, so we thought we'd leave it for the end for the high school boys. But as for their team, coached by Dave Partridge, they had Anthony Bailey, Connor Beal, Carson Collins, Nathaniel Johnson, Blake Marino, Patrick Pagona, Matt Partridge, Anthony Procaccino, and Nicholas Procaccino. For their league winner, their league awards, the all-league team went out to Matthew Partridge, Henry Betterbid, Daniel Hunt, Vinny Angeletti, Michael Forlivio, and Michael Forlivio. Their all-defensive team went out to Isaiah Hancock, Nate Johnson, Henry Betterbid, Alexi Christidis, and Owen Wayman. The Heart and Hustle awards were Julian Batista, Mason Choki, and Marco Garuffi. And lastly, their most valuable players, Anthony Procaccino, Nate Johnson, Matt Partridge, Zachary Butts, and Mikey Lawler. That's all for the high school boys awards. That's all we have for today. I'd like to take the time to thank the board members and the supervisor for allowing us to come do this. We pride ourselves very much in our basketball program at Fishkill Rec, and it's nice to recognize the kids to your popular faces. So thank you.
So we'd like to take a nice picture with everybody so we can share with the citizens later?
Of course, would you like everyone up
Yes.
front? Awesome, yeah, we can do that for sure.
All right.
Everyone could just get up front. Everyone, yeah. So everyone just get up front. Maybe let the adults get in the back because everybody can step up.
Where's Greg? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you get it up high? Well, that's why I said make it to it. You saw people. You're so cute.
They're all excited. They got their receipts and everything. No, they're so happy they got their,
Okay, we have one more presentation for a Girl Scout Silver Award recipient. Councilwoman Daniele, a former Girl Scout, will be reading it.
Victoria, do you want to come up with your
Come on,
family
Victoria.
up to the podium? You can bring your family too.
Yes? Come on, guys.
We'll put them on the spot, too.
Yes.
Right up to the podium. Yep, right up to the podium. There.
Come on, Marie.
Okay. This proclamation is recognizing Fishkill Girl Scout Victoria McKay, whereas Victoria McKay is a Girl Scout cadet with the Girl Scouts of the United States of America, and whereas the Silver Award is the second highest award within the Girl Scouts of the United States of America, and whereas in order to earn a Silver Award, a candidate must complete an 8-step program which requires the candidate to learn about their community and identify issues that matter, and whereas in order to earn a Silver Award, a candidate must demonstrate leadership and initiative by designing and completing a service project in the community, and whereas to earn a Silver Award, Victoria McKay designed and completed a project at the Glenham Elementary School, whereas the project involved designing and implementing a lesson plan to instruct members of the Glenham Elementary School Student Council in the game of Owari, right? So we had that wrong on here, but we're going to correct it. It's Owari. And whereas this project meets all requirements, and Victoria McKay was awarded the Girl Scout Silver Award at a program on June 3rd, 2023. And whereas the town of Fishkill supports the youth of the Girl Scouts of America, and whereas the town of Fishkill wishes to recognize acts of service to the Fishkill community, now therefore be it resolved that the town of Fishkill hereby congratulates Victoria McKay on completing her Silver Award project and wishes her the best in the future endeavors in the Girl Scouts and beyond. And be it further resolved by this proclamation to be presented to Victoria McKay at the August 16, 2023 meeting of the Town of Fishkill Town Board, or soon thereafter as can be arranged. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Fishkill on the 16th day of August, 2023.
Outstanding. Congratulations. Good job.
Stand back here with me. All right, now we got public hearings, two quick ones. A public hearing for the proposed local law amending Chapter 65 explosives and combustibles. I'll make a motion to open the public hearing. Can I have a second? Second.
Carmen, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody who wish to speak about this? Russ?
Russ O'Malley, 142 Old Route 9. Good evening, Supervisor Albert. Good evening, Town Board members. I want to commend the Town Board and Mr. Gaba for the concern, input, and work involved with this proposed blasting law. It's a good thing. I just want to bring to the attention the fact that nothing has been resolved with respect to creating minimum safe blasting distances from residents' homes in all zones. I know that there is no state nor town guide, chart, or law demanding minimum distances, but as I have stood before this board on a number of occasions, there should be. Set a precedent for the future protection, safety, and well-being of Fishkill residents. As far as the terminology and the size of explosive charges to be used, small, medium, large, whatever, it's still explosives. And if your home was here, and your property line was, say, here, you wouldn't accept anyone deploying explosives on the property line. People don't even want fireworks set off that close. In my opinion, minimum distance standards would eliminate the whether or nots to any one person's decision, predetermined decision. Predetermined standards would only be a good thing for everyone. As always, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. O'Malley.
See, I thought we had that. We didn't have that?
Anybody else? Any board member has a comment?
I just have a question. I know that we asked last time to add to 65-7B that the town water and sewer provider would also be advised. We have that in the resolution, but I asked the town clerk if when we send that up as a law, if it will be added, and I was advised it wasn't. So I'm just asking Mr. Gaba how we can make sure that's added when it goes up to become a law.
We'd have to amend the law. You'd have to amend the law. You could add that provision and then continue the public hearing with the revised text. But other than that, I don't see any way.
Okay. Then I'll make a motion to hold the public hearing open.
Second.
Okay. Hold it open to the next
then
town board.
can you
And we'll
make
prepare a
those-
revised text, which will be posted, and
Okay.
that way you can adopt it as amended.
Okay. So when's the next town board meeting?
9/6.
9/6? Is that enough time, Mr. Yaba?
It's just a sentence.
Yeah, so you can
Okay.
mention it, sure.
9/6. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.
So we're going to make a motion to continue the public hearing. Do I have to make a motion to continue it?
No, I did it, we did it.
Yeah.
We already did it, all right. Next one up will be public hearing on proposed local law imposing moratorium on self-storage facility development. Make a motion to open up the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
Carmine, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Anybody wish to speak about this moratorium for self-storage facilities? Okay. Ms. Kraft?
I would just like to make a comment. I think this is a great idea. I just think it's a few years too late, and I wish you could retroactive some of the projects that are already in. Keep going forward.
I understand. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. O'Malley?
Saying the same thing as Teresa and O'Malley, that there's got to be something else in these places, not so many of these.
Can you speak in the mic?
There's got to be something else that they can be putting in these properties rather than just storage areas. It's not doing Fishkill's, historic properties any good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any board member? Make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is a privilege of the floor for general town items.
Could I ask Darcy McCourt, I know she has comments, and she has a slight presentation. I
Sure.
asked her from the senior picnic if she could be first, that's all.
You're first.
Thank you, Supervisor and councilpersons from the town of Fishkill. I'm Darcy McCourt. I'm the Executive Director for Rebuilding Together Dutchess County. Previously, we were Christmas in April, so some of you may remember that name. And we've been around for 32 years as a not-for-profit. I'm here today only to say on public record that we've extended our application period through September 30th so that we can continue to do the good work that we do. And if I might have just a moment, our mission is to repair homes, revitalize communities, and rebuild lives. Our vision is that everyone should have a safe home and community. We do so by being able to offer free, no-charge repairs to low-income homeowners. They must reside in their home. They must be the primary deed holder, or everyone that is living in the home must be on the deed and must agree with the project. They must be able to demonstrate that their house is current with town taxes and any other state fines and levies that they may have. And if they come to us with a health and safety concern, we will actually assess the home, go into the home, work with volunteer organizations, committee members, skilled tradesperson, and town members who actually would like to volunteer, and we will go in on a single day and repair the home for the homeowner. Every dollar that we have put into the community has net, in the past 32 years, $8 million of reinvested capital into Dutchess County.
Outstanding.
We know that each dollar donated to us and put back into a home has a $4 net gain. We also know that seniors who wish to age in place and can do so safely, they save themselves money because they might be able to stay in their home, an environment that they feel comfortable with, instead of going to an assisted living or a senior facility away from their community with individuals that they don't know. We include caregivers in our calculation. Homes cannot be valued at above $368,000. And we know that that's a concern because we don't control how homes are assessed. But that number is driven by HUD, and we don't have any way to get around that number. We know that the income qualifications
for a single person living in their home is $66,000. And there's a sliding scale when there's more individuals who live there. I brought for the town board just some little cards that I might be able to leave with you. I wanted to go on public record. I also brought some applications.
Perfect.
So you could post them on your bulletin board or perhaps distribute them, because I believe that everyone I speak to, even in 3 minutes, and everyone here today, becomes a partner in the work that we do, because each of you knows somebody who has a need, whether it's safe steps, lighting to be able to get into or out of their home, a roof repair, a plumbing repair, or any other accessibility modifications if they had had a medical condition that they needed assistance with. So I appreciate the time to take today. I know you have a very busy agenda.
It's okay.
And I'm very glad to be able to say that we're thrilled to keep this application open so that we can do more for more.
Thank you.
Darcy, when you told me about this and reminded me at the senior picnic, I thought, well, you're on a tight time schedule here before you cut off, so I'm glad you were able to get here and tell everyone. If we can take it a step further, and you have some information you can send via email.
Yes.
And we can give it to Greg, maybe put it in the eGov, because this is important and it can be very important for a lot of people, so.
I'll send that immediately out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Send it to Brian, and I'll take care of it after that.
All right.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your
Thank you.
time. And I'll leave these on the table to the
Absolutely.
side.
Thank you, Darcy.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, anybody else wishes to speak?
General,
Privilege of the floor for general town items.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Anything in town.
It's anything.
Yeah. So, my name is Rob Bucari. I'm the co-president of the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot. I've spoken here many times. And every time I get up here, I see that soldier there. Reminds me of the fight that we're involved in here. I've been involved for at least 8 years with the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot. Throughout the years, I've attempted to spread this very simple message that our local history matters and that sacrifices made by people before us, especially during the American Revolution, should be cherished. I have sat through many hours of town board meetings, and I've witnessed debates constantly about the 11-acre property along Route 9. And I want to say this to be clear. It could be one of the most important historic sites in the country. I did not say that there are definitely the remains of all the soldiers there, but there could be. And for that is a very important point for us to realize. The Friends sometimes are accused of saying wrong things. The fact is, it is possible that there are many soldiers buried on that site, that 10-acre site. I know there are different views about it, but we say that there might be. Now, I've seen past boards. I've seen them make decisions time and time again which endanger the site and kind of follow the whim of the developer. And quite frankly, I've had it. This site is that important. Take a closer look at it before the bulldozers come in. You have the ability to appeal an earlier decision that allowed development to proceed. At the previous town board meeting, it was stated that the Continental Commerce does not have, in fact, enough water capacity according to the guidelines set by the Dutchess Department of Health. Continental Commerce will have to have extra water capacity from nearby towns. That's what I heard. Somebody has to pay for this. Somebody's got to bear the cost. If that's what we're coming down to, this decision to allow development, I'll go with that, all right? I still think the historic intrinsic value is that important. Now, these questions make me delve deeper into this entire decision-making process. I want to know if somebody on the board received campaign contributions from the developer. Has anyone got any campaign contribution from the developer? They don't have to tell, because we foiled it. And from the public, reportingelections.gov, Mr. Foreman, you've received $250. Is that true?
From who?
Dominic Broccoli.
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right. Well, we have proof here, but we can come back to that. That's no problem. Now, in my opinion, if you do receive any money from a campaign contribution, you should recuse yourself of any vote. Should not be in it. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So again, we're going to continue foiling this and getting this information and certainly providing it for the public. Conflict of interest is a problem, all right? It is apparent that there's some conflict of interest here. Mark Twain once said, "An honest man in politics shines more there than he would elsewhere." I wonder if the board is willing to listen to the will of the people and is being completely honest and forthcoming about the entire process of allowing development on this property. The Friends Group have a petition of over 250 people, I believe 400 also included people outside the town, to reverse this decision concerning the water capacity of Continental Commons. I'm a teacher for 30 years. I'm going to be walking in the classroom for 30 years. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this to make a name for myself. I'm doing it because there are guys that are underground somewhere in Fishkill, could be the 10-acre site, that can't speak. That's my passion. That's what I'm here for. No, I don't live in the town of Fishkill, but I have a lot of contacts in the town of Fishkill, and let me tell you, on election day, we're definitely going to make our voices known. I want to finish up with this last thing. Mark Twain also said, "Do the right thing. It'll gratify some people and astonish the rest." Thank you.
I got something to say that's just in general.
No, you got to come to the mic.
No, I know, but I wanted to, this agenda items and agenda, I have a non-agenda item, so hold on a second. Sorry.
That's the way it goes. She got seniority. Thank you, Ms.
Just
Little.
trying to follow the rules. Okay. So, and I'll talk during the agenda items, because I got something to say about that, too.
In the mic, Ann.
Okay. So I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the town. The residents of the town of Fishkill are going to be calling upon you for help once again in regards to the village. I want to kind of set the stage. I live in a neighborhood that is both village and town, and I am continually at the mercy of their poor decisions regarding development and traffic. So just to let anybody listening know, anybody here, Keep Fishkill Beautiful has started another campaign to raise awareness with residents, both town and village. Dear Fishkill neighbor, local developers have planned a major residential project for the currently empty property on the corner of Jackson and Main Street, the site of the former Mid-Hudson Medical Building. Without your input, the Village Planning Board is going to vote to approve a 7-building, 3.5-story, which is 38.5 feet high, complex of 56 apartments, storage buildings, and offices, together with 105-unit parking lot. For perspective, the apartment complex across the street from this proposal that surrounds the old carriage house on Jackson next to the M&T Bank has only 27 apartments and is only 32 feet high. The high-density development will impact both town and village residents. It is designed to direct all incoming and outgoing apartment complex traffic onto Weston and Cary Avenues, which will increase traffic dramatically on these streets and on the adjoining Main and Jackson streets. It will also increase the difficulty of emergency vehicles to traverse the neighborhood, i.e. get to me if I'm having a heart attack in the back of that neighborhood. It will also increase when they are needed. Additionally, traffic attempting to avoid the intersection of Jackson and Main will increasingly ignore the one-way traffic signs and cut through these narrow roads. Ultimately, they will work their way further into this residential neighborhood via Wood, Leicester, and Florence. I almost got T-boned twice last week. One was a gentleman, I use that term loosely, coming from Main Street, cutting through my neighborhood so he could get onto Jackson and avoid that intersection. The other one was coming from the opposite direction, coming off of Jackson to get to Main to avoid that intersection in the village. So he's coming through the town, so this is a town issue. The increased traffic issues that will be contributed by this development are quite significant despite the developer's privately funded traffic study, which states the following. Results of the analysis indicate that the signalized intersection of New York State Route 52 at Jackson Street will continue to operate at similar levels of service and vehicle delays during both the weekday morning and weekday afternoon peak hours. The analysis indicated that the existing 95th percentile queue exceeds the available storage for eastbound left turn pocket. There's a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo here. I have copies of the letter for each of you. Suffice to say, the existing traffic patterns already exceed the available capacity and run at a traffic level graded F, the worst possible designation. So I'm not sure if the village is going for an F- because it just can't get worse. And this issue keeps getting kicked down the road, no pun intended, and we are at their mercy. Their statement that the additional cars traffic generated by this development will have an insignificant increase is preposterous on its face. The available traffic capacity already exceeds what the road can bear. Everyone must know that the traffic generated by an additional 105 apartment dwellers smack in the middle of the village, and therefore the middle of the town, is absolutely going to make it more unbearable and more intolerable to live in this area.
Ann, can I ask you a question?
In a minute.
Okay.
So I'm coming to you on behalf of Keep Fishkill Beautiful Committee to ask for two things. One, to request from the village that they expand their lame traffic study to actually include what it will mean to people who live in that area. And also, because who knows if that's going to happen, our next step is to hound you to change the traffic pattern in our neighborhood. The village has one-way streets which are ignored. We need to make it local traffic only, emergency vehicles, and school buses. And we need that to be properly policed so that I don't get hit and killed by some idiot coming through my neighborhood to avoid the village. Your question, sir.
When is the village taking a vote on this?
So there's another public hearing on September 21st.
September 21st.
You can go on Facebook, Keep Fishkill Beautiful. We also have a petition going. It's only been a couple days. We already have nearly 200 signatures.
Since you and I live in the same neighborhood, and you've been in my house writing petitions to stop 2 other developments, this is of interest to me.
As it should be.
Because that, I don't need encouragement, trust me.
I have plenty of letters that you can help to hand out in our
Because
neighborhood.
you're down the street from me, safer, everyone zips by my house.
Yes.
At those traffic signs.
Yes.
So for this type of thing going on, for this size, concerns me a great deal. I had no idea it was larger than that thing across the street that we worked on a petition to
It's
stop.
more than twice as
Okay.
big.
And then we worked on,
But-
and we're able to stop a housing thing up the street.
Well,
But that's
yeah,
pretty
that
bad.
was Keep Fishkill Beautiful. So in that, we were very active in doing that. And I will say, I don't want to name them specifically for fear that someone may end up in their driveway ambushing them the way I have been ambushed in my home for speaking out. So suffice to say, anybody that wants to join us, whether they're here at this meeting, live in that neighborhood, live, work, travel, shop in the village of Fishkill, if you, regardless of whether you are a town resident, it is absolutely appalling to me that this has gotten as far as it has. Oh, and I left out one important thing, and this is village, but I'm going to say it anyway. The developer is also requesting a reduction in the buffer margin from 20 feet to 10 feet next to the home, the one residential home on that block. And so I think that people need to also understand that while we were all recovering and trying to survive COVID, the village of Fishkill changed the zoning amendment for that particular business district, west of Jackson, all the way to the church property. You can now have higher buildings, 4 stories, you can have denser buildings, and you can have less setback. So even that isn't enough for this developer of this project. So I want to know, again, I would like for the town to speak to the village and ask them to get the developer to expand that lame traffic study, which I don't even know how they printed that with a straight face. And the second thing is, for our protection, we need to make our neighborhoods safer so that I don't have to worry. I mean, there's kids in our neighborhood. They're not my kids, but I care about those kids. I don't want them getting hit by some idiot. I mean, literally this guy, and then he's like, oh, sorry. Let me tell you, you want to talk, it makes you enraged. That is what road rage is. So, and I see it right in the middle of the village, and to avoid that, people are coming through the town. And that's the same goes for Old Post Mall. That's part town as well. And people cut through that to avoid the mess in the middle of the village. So that's my request. And so I'd like to follow up with any of you who are going to be able to get this done. What is your time frame? I'm happy to meet with you in your office. This is an extremely concerning topic, and there are many, many people. Again, the comprehensive plan, one of the number one, if not the number one concern was traffic. And instead, the village planning board kind of shrugging their shoulders, well, there's nothing we can do about traffic flow. But you can avoid increasing traffic flow. And listen, if it was just apartments and no cars, I'd be for it. But it is absolutely ludicrous to think this is not going to negatively and dramatically impact the residents of the town as well.
Thank you, Ms. Leroy.
So I want to follow up.
Okay.
Should I call your office? Do I need to call one of the board members? This is not going away, and you know we'll get those signatures.
The liaison to the village is Louise. Louise, you're the
I'm
liaison
pretty
to the
sure I have
village.
a vested interest,
Well,
since
the-
this
I
is
have-
on my
like
screen.
I said, I have letters
You know.
right here, and we are handing them out. I am more than
I'll
happy
be
to
more
give
than
you a
happy
bunch
to
of them.
follow up with the village on my own as a citizen,
Well,
because I don't know what
then
influence
that's
we can
great.
have, but that is a great deal of concern to me, trust me.
As it should be. Well, you
Well,
can
I-
go to the public hearing on September 21st.
It's in my calendar already.
So, Louise, then I
Whatever you
guess...
need, Ann, yeah.
I
I'll
will
speak to
follow
you
up
after the
with you.
meeting, and I'll be at
Excellent.
that meeting as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Louise is our village liaison.
That's far too big, it's too crazy.
Ma'am,
Hi, can I just...
bring it closer to you.
Members of the board, my name is Regina Benline. I've lived in Dutchess County since 2003. I've worked in the Wappinger Central School District for over 11 years as a substitute monitor. Working this school year with the town of Fishkill Rec is important to me because of the youth is the future of our community. Some will go and shape the world as we know it, and others will shape our community here in Dutchess County. Either way, big or small, knowing that I've had a positive influence on the youth makes my heart happy, and I would like to thank you for your time and considering me for the role of part-time site director for the Fishkill Recreation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Dr. Gruen, and I've lived on Derrick Drive in Fishkill for over 24 years now. I'm also a volunteer with the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot, and at the July Town Board meeting, I filled you in on the statistics of a petition drive that the Friends conducted in the first 2 weeks of July. That petition was aimed at convincing the Town Board to commence proceedings to reverse last year's ruling granting a water sewer extension to the proposed Continental Commons development in light of the disclosure that it will need significantly greater water capacity than stated in the original proposal. Tonight, I'd like to expound on a few other interesting pieces of information about that petition drive. Just to refresh your memory, that short petition drive garnered 386 signatures in all, 272 of which were from Fishkill, and a majority of the remaining signatures came from surrounding townships. As I mentioned last month, I did a lot of canvassing in the sprawling Dutchess Park or Brinkerhoff neighborhood, and virtually everyone I engaged with wholeheartedly agreed with and were happy to sign the petition. One of the things that I discovered during this canvassing project was the surprising amount of bipartisan support for the petition. This in a country that nowadays seems to be partisan about pretty much everything. And no, I did not specifically ask people about their political affiliation. I do, however, drive through this area on a daily basis, and after 24 years, I've seen enough political yard signs to get a pretty clear indication of residents' party affiliation. One notable household had both Trump and Biden signs in the 2020 election, so I'm guessing there are probably some very lively discussions in that home, to say the least. Nevertheless, all three residents of that house signed the petition. And since I was curious if there was a greater tendency of one party or another to sign the petition, I specifically tried to visit numerous known Republican and Democratic households. And there are many of both in Brinkerhoff. The unexpected discovery of such extraordinary bipartisan support really clarifies why I was able to get so many signatures in such a short time. I truly hope this information sends a very clear signal to any elected official who thinks the petition results are somehow biased. Needless to say, I think the overcapacity situation and its implications will be a significant factor in this fall's elections. I would also like to note for the record a number of related questions that various petition signers asked of me. Unfortunately, I was not able to provide any surefire answers. Since I didn't know the answers, I encouraged these folks to come to tonight's board meeting and ask the town officials and the developer themselves. Most people seemed intimidated by the thought, however, so I'd be surprised if they are here right now, and I don't think I've seen any of them actually. I consequently decided to use a portion of my time to relay their questions, which are as follows. When was the original water requirement assessment performed? Who performed that assessment? Who paid for that assessment? Was the assessment overseen or checked by an independent party for accuracy? Did the developer's engineers, who should know the project inside and out, come up with the grossly underestimated initial water requirement value? And lastly, could the low initial assessment be a case of gaming the system to get the initial water sewer extension approval, knowing it would be hard to reverse later when the real overcapacity value was announced? Thought-provoking questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Non-agenda items?
Yes, you can speak.
That's on the agenda.
It doesn't matter, whatever you want to talk about. Whatever you want to talk about, as long as it's regarding the town of Fishkill.
Good evening. My name is Aiden Riley. My father is Keith Riley, co-president of the Friends of Fishkill Supply Depot. Keith could not be here this evening, and he asked if I could read the statement on his behalf. Last month, nearly 400 people signed the petition to reverse the ruling in a 2022 case ordering the town to extend water and sewer district extensions to the Continental Commons property. Most of the people who signed the petition were Fishkill voters who understand how providing water capacity for this project will impact their taxes. At the July 2023 town board meeting, after much discussion over water with the proposed Continental Commons, the town attorney, Stephen Gaba, clarified with a definitive statement that there is a capacity issue. This statement finally confirms what the people of Fishkill have known for years. The Fishkill Town Board correctly responded to the people's concern by voting no back on September 16, 2020, to approving sewer and water to Continental Commons and saying the project was not in the public interest. 2 years later, in 2022, a judge ruled in favor of the developer, and to the Friends of Fishkill Supply Depot's dismay, Councilman Foreman, Rye, and Eastvan voted not to appeal the judge's short-sighted decision, therefore ceding local control to a judge who is unfamiliar with the specific needs of the town of Fishkill. This spring of 2023, the Dutchess County Department of Health stated that the Continental Commons plans exceed water capacity and was confirmed by the town attorney. We now have definitive proof that there is a capacity issue. The Friends believe that the taxpayers will ultimately have to pay the burden for providing the water capacity for this project. Unless the town board member this evening is willing to state with 100% certainty that the taxpayers of Fishkill will not have any future expense, we now have the proof to win an appeal and demonstrate to the judge that the project is indeed not in the public interest. Therefore, the Friends ask the board to vote in favor of the petition signed by nearly 400 citizens. Reversing the ruling would not add a significant cost, but could save the taxpayers thousands. The town attorney, who is already receiving a salary paid by the Fishkill taxpayers, may have to devote some extra time to studying similar court cases regarding the matter. I would direct him to look at a 2022 ruling by U.S. Central California District Court Judge Dale Fisher, who denied a developer to build because of legitimate public consistency about the ability of the town to provide sufficient water consistently to its current users, let alone any sufficient number of new users. This case sounds a lot like the situation here in Fishkill, and shows that we can win in court. Although I am not an attorney, I am willing to volunteer my research, time, and skills on the issue if Mr. Gaba would like my assistance for the benefit of the taxpayers of Fishkill, because neighbors have each other's back here in the Hudson Valley. In conclusion, your vote this evening to reverse the 2022 ruling will take courage that Councilmen Foreman, Rye, and Eastvan have lacked in the past. But to quote the National Youth Poet Laureate Amanda Gorman, "The hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's a past we step into and how we repair it." In America, we believe in second chances, and with your vote this evening, you can take a step to repair the damage of the past. When presented with new information, you can prove that you stand with the Continental Soldiers and the taxpayers of Fishkill, rather than the developer. Sometimes in life, we must reverse to go forward. If not now, then the Fishkill voters will remember in November. Thank you.
I want to speak on the project as well, but I'll wait till then. Since the days of Save the Jackson House protest days, I'm not sure how anyone could be unaware how big that project is going to be. Maybe some have had their heads in the sand. We know this project is moving super big and needs to be stopped. And I just would maybe ask if you could engage with the Fjords Trail and Scenic Hudson and possibly do something with the Texaco project back there to get some people on the trail back that way. And I'd also like to ask and hope that you are, I know you did some outreach with the temporary housing and hotels for immigrants, but I hope you're locking down on any thoughts of opening up the Fishkill prison for that, because we're watching that too and we're seeing what's going on there.
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Downstate will not be open.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
I don't know. We're seeing stuff. Thank you.
What do you say?
Yes.
You love it. Your job.
No, I have, but what are you saying? Because I'll tell you what I'm saying in a minute. We'll talk about that.
The one with the hat? Yeah. Anybody else? Huh?
Good evening. My name is Paul Hafman, and I'm a town of Fishkill resident, and also I'm a trustee of the Friends of Fishkill Supply Depot since 2022. Tonight, there are 3 items on the agenda that I full-heartedly support enacting. The first is to provide the Roundabout Rural Cemetery Association with the annual funding it has requested and greatly deserves so it can continue to fulfill its role as a historic steward as it has done so effectively for the past decade. The second item I speak in support of is adding a tree clearing provision to the town code so we are not stuck with an additional Blythe, like the one currently at the intersection of Route 9 and Snook Road. Finally, I call upon the board to appeal the court decision regarding the Blodgett Water District Extension ruling that was issued in September 2022. Over the past 4 decades, especially the past 2 decades, I have witnessed a town squandering the very characteristics that we claim to cherish, especially its natural beauty and resources and its historical and cultural heritage. When speaking with my fellow town residents of the Hudson Valley in general, as well as visitors from other continents, the things that are most closely associated with Fishkill today are traffic congestion, strip malls, and hotels. After reviewing the town Fishkill Comprehensive Plan of 2023 that was recently adopted unanimously, I decided to look at the previous plan that was adopted in 2009 to see how closely it had been followed during the past 14 years. I did not have to proceed past page 2 to reach a conclusion. Several stated goals on page 2 include connect people and places with a network of roads, sidewalks, pedestrian pathways, and bicycle trails to reduce traffic congestion and enhance quality of life. Create gateways that welcome visitors to our town and define Fishkill as a quality community. Emphasize scenic and historic stewardship to enhance Fishkill's unique sense of place. And also raise community awareness about the natural resource conservation efforts and smart growth principles that contribute to quality of life. Based upon my knowledge, there have only been largely 3 clear steps taken towards achieving these goals. In the past few years, some steps have been taken to further protect our water supply and historical heritage, and just last year, a beautiful statue of Daniel Nimmin was erected. In regards to gateways in the town and the scenic stewardship, sadly, only 2 of the main routes of access still largely greet travelers with any sizable areas of natural scenic beauty, those being Routes 9 and 9D. Increasingly, Route 9, its scenic beauty and historical uniqueness is also being lost, and this is exemplified by the swath of trees that were cut down and still lay nearly half a year later on the historic Fishkill Supply Depot site to largely make way for another strip mall and hotel. As has already been publicly noted, this very development also presents an evident challenge to the local water supply the developer plans to connect to. Now it is time for the current board to decide whether or not it will vigorously support the goals put forth in the comprehensive plan of 2023 that all of you voted in favor of just 3 months ago. You have all received copies of the petition signed by over 250 Fishkill residents expressing their will that the town board move forward with appealing the Blodgett Water District decision issued in September 2022. Will this town board continue to build upon the efforts of the past 4 years, or it will go back to squandering the very characteristics that we claim to cherish? That decision is up to you.
Mr. Beister?
The bottom line for me is, don't let the job be finished at Continental Commons. I'm presenting here a case for my opposing the Continental Commons development. I'm Martin Beister. I'm a resident of the town of Fishkill. I've been here 30-some years on 58 Highview Road, and I've been researching the Revolutionary War in the Hudson Highlands, from Connecticut to New Jersey, and from the Hudson River Valley, into Hudson River Valley from Croton to the Mohawk River. The historic landmarks in this area of the American War for Independence date from the end of the French and Indian War in 1763 through the departure of the British Army from New York City in 1783, include the historical markers and memorials with what remains of the Hudson River defenses. With these landmarks, they total hundreds. The Fishkill Supply Depot is a landmark arbitrarily defined and outlined in the National Register of Historic Places as a 75-acre site to either side of Route 9 and south of Route 84 to just about where the road turns a little bit west after McDonald's. The outline of the site is based on the French General Chateau's identification and description of the depot, and it was mapped by Patrick Ferguson, a spy for the British General Henry Clinton, then in New York City. A comprehensive compilation of the historical and archaeological resources related to the Fishkill Supply Depot is available. It was produced by the Friends of the Fishkill Supply Depot, and it's the historical and archaeological synthesis of the Fishkill Supply Depot by Hunter Research, and it's available on the internet for anyone who cares to read that. It includes archival and background research concentrated on identifying, characterizing, and prioritizing the voluminous manuscripts, historic maps, and other documentary materials that are available for study in a wide range of repositories and online. The gathering and analysis of historical information on Fishkill is a daunting task, and that is likely to continue far into the future, and this report, the one by Hunter, merely scratches the surface. I've been working on this for about 20 years, 18 years, at least 15 years myself, and I can verify there's a lot. And I think that's part of the problem why the people in Fishkill, or at least the town board and the planning board, don't recognize the value of this particular treasure. More than a dozen archaeological studies were performed within the limits of the National Register site. Among those studies are included the Van Wyck Homestead, a long-lost American Revolutionary War soldier cemetery. Whether they're buried there or not, it's recognized that way from about 1850s at least. And some other suspected man-made structures and cultural deposits. A Phase 2 migration plan approved by SHPO to address the remaining cultural deposits encountered in earlier archaeological investigations was to be prepared to clear the development property. These plans would include specific research questions, a work scope, and schedule of the field investigation and final reports. That's Harkin Archaeological Associates that wrote that recommendation for the owner of the property at the time, which was, I think, Fishkill Finalmente LLC. Today, when I look back at this, I see that the specific Phase 3 plan was never to evaluate the remaining cultural resources was not completed. There was an uncertainty over the disposition of the perpetuity of the long-lost American War soldier cemetery. The developers provided some kind of paperwork that apparently would put it into perpetuity, but basically, or have it cared for it into perpetuity, but there's no guarantee from what my experience is, or my understanding of it is, that that can be guaranteed. The existing piping system on the development site has not been approved by Dutchess County Health Department, as I understand. There's concerns on the downside risks for the town's water supply. The Fishkill Historical Society objected to the developers building on the corner of Snook Road and Route 9 in the area setback that was supposed to remain forever green with specific trees. How that managed to just disappear from the original approval of the what is now is the gas station and a store there, I don't know, but it did, and that I think disappointed a lot of people that expected a greenery according to an old comprehensive plan tour that was supposed to be provided in that area for the Van Wyck Homestead. Will the Continental Commons be listed as a potential contaminant source? Have the risk of the potential contamination sources at the Speedway and the Continental Commons for the village and the town of Fishkill been evaluated? I looked at the town of Fishkill drinking water source protection plan in that kind of EXL spreadsheet. I don't see that anything's been said about that. The town and village water supply creeks and streams are the town and village water supply creeks, streams properly and adequately protected. There is a report that was submitted to the town board in 2015 by Leggett, Brashers, and Graham, and I'm wondering if this was ever done. Okay, some of these things. There was a question about, are vegetated surfaces in the stream corridor adequate to protect the stream from the sheet flow runoff from the contiguous landscape? This is from the report itself. Does the sewer water, SWPPP, I don't know what all that stands for, provides enhanced phosphorus removal? He asked that question. I don't know if that's ever been answered. The site is within the zone capture of the town's wells, as the site-specific data have been collected to characterize the overburden and the depth of groundwater as suggested, reviewed, and assessed by Liggett, Brashers, and Graham. I don't know. The proposed development is within the direct zone of contribution to the Snook Road well field. Has the risk to the well field been determined adequately determined? Why should the customers of the consumers of the town and village water supply accept any contribution to risk in their water supply, creeks and streams from a Continental Commons development? Continental Commons, unfortunately, is certain to deny access to the cultural resources which remain below grade, if indeed they are not destroyed. It took 223 years to verify the long-lost soldier cemetery. Well, it did have human remains in it. That doesn't speak well for all the archaeological reports that were done on that piece of property. It may be another 100 years to find out what now lies below all the unacknowledged costs to the local economy. I didn't manage to emphasize another concern of mine here in this letter, but basically, I often wonder, I'm in the town of Fishkill up here on off Osborne Hill Road, and I get village water. And I'm saying, this concern of the letter to the town for Fishkill drinking water or the plan, and also from Leggett, Brashers, and Graham, they concern me that it's addressing problems that may affect the town. But right down on the lower level from where Continental Commons is going to be developed, there's the village wells. And I'm just wondering, he talks about the infiltration of water. I think if you read the Leggett's report, you'd be concerned about, I don't know if those questions have ever been answered. Suppose you have a spill. Suppose that big plastic tank they got down there, whatever the heck it's made out of, leaks. Is there a plan? Is it going to leak down far enough and drift down on the water? There's a flow. When you look at the flow of the groundwater, it flows right down through Continental Commons development, right down into what then collects as one of the second deepest collection of fresh water for the village where they have their pumps. I hope that the town of Fishkill finds a way to either get the developer to do this properly or forget about it.
Thank you, Mr. Beister. Anybody else? Ma'am?
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Amanda Walsh-Jamin, and I'm a resident and co-owner of 222 Snook Road. I'm not affiliated with the Fishkill Supply Depot, but I have discussed this water district with those in my neighborhood, and all of them share the views I'm about to express, including my direct neighbors, the McEwens and the Wilsons. My understanding of this project is that the cost increase of the Blodgett Water District will be passed on to the Fishkill taxpayers. When considering whether or not you should fight this or not, I would like you to consider the current rate of inflation, the recent number of mass layoffs in the country impacting your citizens, and the discussions and debates about whether or not our country is currently headed into a recession. Can the taxpayers afford a tax increase? Additionally, one of the largest news items right now related to the economy is the impact of the end of the pause of the repayment of federal student loans. It has been stated that millennial families, which are your families who have adults my age in their 30s and approaching their 40s, it's not teenagers, millennials are not teenagers. These families cannot afford to resume these payments. They are expecting already hundreds of dollars per month to increase to pay off their student loans. They don't have the funds for a tax increase as well. I don't believe the townspeople of Fishkill can afford a tax hike. Considering the impact of these difficult economic times, how do we raise the taxes of the citizens of Fishkill for the benefit of a private developer? And if the taxes are to be increased for this, shouldn't the citizens have a say into whether or not the taxes go up through the way of a referendum? Shouldn't we get to vote?
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Oh, I apologize. Okay, go on, Ann. Ann, come on. Ann, thank you for reminding me. We could just move past it.
So, you know, as we get older, we try and work on our daily gratitude. So I've been meditating, trying to work on my daily gratitude. And I actually feel like we owe this developer some gratitude. This project provides opportunities for the board to pass resolutions protecting their citizens, protecting their environment, protecting their quality of life. Over the years, and I haven't been here quite as long as Marty, but almost, over the years I've witnessed common sense arguments against improper development be reduced to singular reasons such as bat habitat, which is dismissed by cutting trees at specific times, snake and turtle paths, which is also dismissed because they can't cross the road, so the argument goes. Because these arguments do offer at least some legal argument. All too often, the common sense arguments that you've been hearing through the many years against this project are so easily dismissed. You do have a legal reason, an off-ramp, so to speak. You can appeal that judge's decision using the new information that you have. I'm going to be keeping watch on who actually takes a stand for the things that are important to me, the environment, my quality of life, my safety, and that of the community, who actually is proactive and doesn't hide behind, well, I got a letter from, we got a letter from the attorney, we got a letter from the county, we got a letter. What is right and what is wrong? You have a legal off-ramp. And it just, it does boggle the mind that all of these really legitimate reasons to have dismissed this project years ago still continue to be dismissed. And I can see it on some of your faces that it's like a mockery. Fishkill is supposed to be all about the veterans. How many times? Every single one of you, all about the veterans. These are our first veterans. Why are we not fighting for them?
Absolutely.
You. Yes.
Me?
Councilman has a question for you.
Sure.
So you had asked me a question
Yes.
about a FOIL request?
Yes.
What did you exactly FOIL?
We have information.
Okay.
From a website.
Okay.
That says you received $250.
Okay. So I want you to know that I'm running for supervisor this year.
Yes.
And I don't even have my own account.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking you, who did you FOIL? What did you FOIL?
I will give you the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't even have my own account.
Okay.
So you asking me if I got a check for $250, I said I don't know 15 minutes ago because I don't even have an account.
So you received no money whatsoever, nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
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 We clear?
We will see. Absolutely.
Bad move.
Sure.
30 seconds.
I'll talk quick. Teresa Kraft, thank you. Again, we're seeing an application asking for a loophole to move their project along, even though it was always in question from the get-go. Again, proving that there is not enough water to support this project and forcing the town to enact a new local law to regulate felling trees. Please stop this fake history developer and promoter from making Fishkill and American history a circus act. Please do not approve more water for Continental Commons. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's going to close the public hearing. I apologize. The approved to move forward with general town items. Next up will be the liaison reports. I'll start with Councilwoman Daniele.
I have a lot because we haven't been here in a month, so you'll have to bear with me. The planning board update, tomorrow is the meeting for the month. It was changed because someone had to be on vacation. Update on the playground, Carmine and I have been working with Brandon to make sure the equipment installation is complete, and now looking forward to painting the roadway on the blacktop. Mother Nature has pushed us back on our scheduling on everything, but we are hopeful to get it finished soon. Brandon, Brian, Angel, and all of the guys in the buildings and grounds have done a great job working together to put the benches and the picnic tables all together and begin painting the blacktop. Thank you to all of them, and I can't wait for it to be completed and have the kids to begin enjoying it. For the Village of Fishkill, the Blodgett Library will have a community event at Sarah Taylor Park on August 19th from noon to 2 p.m. The Health and Wellness Bus will be there again that day. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's pretty nice, so stop by and check it out. Our seniors went to Brownstone in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago and listened to the Jersey Dreamers and had a wonderful lunch. Thursday is sign-ups for the Lancaster holiday trip. At the rec center, later in the agenda is a discussion for a budget amendment. Jay and Mary Ann asked to be able to go, to have the seniors go to the Miracle of Christmas Sights and Sounds. They're also accepting applications for the after-school program, and he encourages, later that's in our agenda, also a discount for volunteer coaches as an incentive because it's hard to find people to coach. As we've seen, there were some really good coaches here tonight, so the incentive would just give them a little bit off of their costs for their children. Summer Hoops Championship was a huge success. Summer camp ended last week with a picnic. Thank you to Lauren and Camp Director Taylor and all of the counselors for a successful camp season. Save the date of October 14th for the Harvest Festival. last week in July and the first week in August. I filled in for the supervisor as what I call the town hall greeter while he was away. I enjoyed stopping in and saying hello to all of our town employees and the citizens as they came into town hall for services at the clerk's office, the water department, the assessor's office, and the building department. The personal touch that the supervisor has appeared to be, the personal touch that the supervisor gives appears to be appreciated by many residents that I met. I assisted an employee with an ongoing issue she has had and tried to help her resolve it to make her job more efficient. Now, this is the part where the liaison reports have turned into a list of places that we have gone since the last meeting. So here are mine. On July 21st, I enjoyed going to a Renegades game. On July 26th, I met with Mike Tremper for our monthly water liaison meeting and reviewed some current issues in our town. Mike also just advised me this morning that part of our new Glenham Bridge project, it was also necessary to, as part of the new Glenham Bridge project, it was necessary to replace the water main that hung off of the old bridge. As part of the installation of the new bridge, water main was installed, new valves, and 2 new fire hydrants, one on each side of the bridge. Council has been working closely with the county contractor to make this transition happen. On August 14th, the transition was completed without problems, so thank you to Mike for his continued excellent work. On July 26th, I attended a free concert in the park at Gearing and saw some old friends there that I used to work with at the state police and enjoyed a nice night. July 27th, I met with Carmine and John Cantor, our planning board chair, to continue work on creating the new law regarding the trees being cut down, which is a continuation. Thank you to John Cantor, who always puts a lot of time and effort into everything that we do in this town. We appreciate him. July 31st, I attended a farewell ice cream cake celebration that Suzanne set up for Judge Vahamba at Town Hall. We wish him well in his retirement. August 1st at 9 o'clock, I went and sat in on Judge Ray Raish's first day on the bench. It was a light schedule, but he seemed to be very comfortable in his new role as town justice. I wish him success, and I'm happy to report that he has already done what I asked him to do, and he has had his first arraignment within a week of starting. I'm very happy to see Fishkill judges participating in arraignments when needed. Great job, Judge Raish. On August 1st, I attended the National Night Out in Gearing Park, which was a nice compilation of our law enforcement, fire department, ambulance, and Dutchess County new crisis vehicle. Everyone there was interacting with all of our residents and community. The rec center did a great job. Jay, Marianne, Lauren, and senior volunteers, Lorraine and Beverly, as well as the buildings and grounds guys. The food trucks were awesome, and so was the music. Eddie Cologne collected food for the food pantry and the Rotary Club, and other local organizations were on hand to distribute information. The best part was seeing all of the town employees there and their families and friends enjoying the National Night Out. Jay's family, Angel, who had a very nice girlfriend and son, Brian Canero and his daughter, and I missed Mary from the water department, but I heard she enjoyed the night with her grandkids, and so many more. It was a really successful night and very well attended, and the Fishkill cadets also did a great job coordinating the parking to help the traffic flow smoothly. On August 3rd, I stopped by the ribbon cutting of the Dutchess County Office of the Public Defender on Jackson Street in the village of Fishkill. Although I missed the first part, I was given a tour by Senior Assistant Public Defender Beth Gibson. I was impressed with the renovations made to the building, and I'm happy that those who use those services can now come to Fishkill instead of having to travel all the way up to Poughkeepsie. On August 4th, I was proud to have been in attendance at the naturalization ceremony at the rec center for our newest citizens. I was happy to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of the supervisor as he was still away on vacation. Thank you to the county clerk for inviting the entire town board and holding it in Fishkill, and thank you to Carmine for putting that together. It was the first time I have ever been invited to a naturalization ceremony. I believe the bipartisan ceremony creates a welcoming space for our new citizens, and that was truly one of the most memorable events I've attended as a board member, especially being a part of the welcome line next to Carmine and Yvette Valdez-Smith and shaking the hands of the new citizens and giving them a flag. On August 9th, I attended the Office of the Aging Senior Picnic in Gearing Park that was canceled because of the smoke in the sky in June. I enjoyed serving the seniors their chicken with the supervisor, County Legislator Yvette Valdez-Smith, and you don't have to be a senior citizen board member to appreciate serving your older adult constituents and enjoying lunch, music, and a nice conversation with everyone. I also want to thank the volunteers from the Office of the Aging, especially the people who did the cooking. On October 10th and 12th, I enjoyed more Renegades games, although the last Saturday night's game was a very rainy one. On Saturday the 12th, I also stopped by the rec center in the afternoon with the supervisor to see the first round of the summer hoops basketball playoffs. Since the Renegades game was canceled out, I was able to return at the end of the night and catch part of the boys' high school game with the supervisor again. One went into double overtime and was very exciting. Jay also had various volunteers singing the national anthem before the start of each game. As we heard previously, Mary Ann's daughter from the senior center, Sarah, and our former council member, Kenny Gadsden, were two of those who sang and sound beautiful. The supervisor has allowed me to be the liaison to the Verplank Garden Club, of which I am a proud new member. I attended their monthly meeting on August 11th. They have requested to be invited to our 9/11 event as they maintain the garden in front of the 9/11 monument, and also asked for some rocks to be placed in the pollinator garden, potential new planters for the front of Town Hall, which they will buy and maintain. We continue to be grateful for the ladies' assistance in maintaining the many gardens we have throughout our town. Their hard work helps to beautify our town and is appreciated by everyone. Lastly, I attended the zoning board meeting last night and spoke at both public hearings, one regarding the Westage self-storage sign variance, and the other regarding the town board's appeal regarding the Healy wall height. And that's it. Thank you.
Councilman Esteban.
I second a lot of stuff that Councilwoman Daniele said. She took a lot of the information. It's hard to beat that. So I worked on a bunch of things with Councilwoman Daniele. Just to update on Doug Phillips Park, we installed a sensory park. We're working on coloring all the equipment that's there and also putting in a road. We had rain floods a couple of times and the area got flooded out, so it put us behind. We're getting close to putting in the road. The blacktop is of course installed on the pickleball course, fence is up. We're initially going to install 4 pickleball courts over at the Doug Phillips. And we're going to refurbish the 2 at Gearing Park and also the tennis courts. Over at Van Pelt, if you notice that our aerators are working very, very nice. If you go there at night, you'll see there's colors coming out of the fountain there. It's very beautiful. The guys cleaned it up. It's very nice. If you have not gone to Van Pelt Park, please take a visit. I actually visited twice.
The Girl Scout camp.
Yes, it's a Girl Scout camp on Old Castle Point Road. Yeah, sorry, I messed that up.
That's what I
Camp
meant to
Foster. And Van Pelt, yes, Supervisor and I met over there with the county. They're going to be moving along, getting that blacktop, and hopefully we can piggyback some blacktopping with them.
Outstanding. Councilman Foreman.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I had several meetings with town employees, including the controller, in-house engineers, building inspector, HR director. Met with Assemblyman Beefan on behalf of one of our constituents here in Fishkill. Wednesday, 7/26, attended music in the park. Tuesday, 8/1, attended National Night Out. Awesome job by the Fishkill PD, our rec department, and our buildings and grounds. Beautiful night, lots of vendors, big crowd. Wednesday, August the 2nd, Councilman Rye and I attended the tour at Downstate Correctional Facility. Neither of us actually took the tour, but we were both curious who might be interested in developing this property. I would say about 15 to 20 developers or representatives showed up. Thursday, 8/3, attended the new public defender satellite office space at 45 Jackson Street. Friday, 8/4, attended the naturalization ceremony at the Fishkill Rec. Thank you to Carmine and County Clerk Brad Kendall for help facilitating this historic event. Saturday, August 5th, attended the Chelsea Fire District Wet Down at Heritage Financial Park, also known as Dutchess Stadium, which is basically just the christening of one of their new rigs. It was a fun day as several neighboring fire districts joined in the festivities. Actually, I had a woman from Wappinger come up to me to tell me how much she loves spending time at the recreation building. So it's always good to hear. Wednesday, August 9th, attended the senior lunch sponsored by the Dutchess County Office for the Aging at Gearing Park. Big crowd, lots of vendors for our residents to visit. Saturday, August 12th, I stopped by the Fishkill Rec, met with Jason, our rec director. The building was packed with basketball championships all day and into the night. And last night, I also attended the zoning board meeting. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Rye?
Yes. I also had the pleasure of attending the National Night Out, and I want to congratulate Chief Dworkin on a very successful second year. It was well organized. It was beautifully laid out. Buildings and Grounds did a great job. It was indeed a Dutchess County Fair type of event, but I kept telling everyone it's better because it was cheaper, better parking, and right here in Fishkill. Everybody that attended and supported was just positive. It just was a great, great evening, and it's just great to see families and friends and everybody coming out to support the police, and seeing the fire districts and all the other services that came. Certainly the food, the line, if you're going to eat there next year, get there early because the lines for the food trucks are crazy. Congratulations to the rec center on the summer hoops. It was just a great program. I talked about it with Jay, and I wasn't able to get there, but I know them, and I know we heard tonight the number of kids that were involved, so it's just great memories for them. It's hard work for the rec, but they love it. They're pros, and they create great memories for these kids. I still remember my son attending events, doing things with the rec center as a kid, and it's just fond memories that'll last forever. I attended the Fishkill Senior Picnic as a senior. Thank you, Louise and Ozzie, for serving me food. I don't know why Louise kept saying I owe $8. What was that all about?
I didn't realize how young you were.
You kept saying, you need to pay $8. I'm like, whoa, 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 I'm 66. I earned this plate of chicken.
I actually didn't know that, so there you go. I'll take it back. You don't owe $8. You're good.
So, and it was great. It's just one of those things, again, where, either the town we're doing something great or the county is doing something, and just people come out and they appreciate it, and it's a time to be together and socialize. And it was a beautiful day. At the end, I sang New York, New York, and Ozzie gave me a standing ovation, right? Yeah, right. Okay. Touring downstate is something that I was glad to do. I kind of said to people I'd be doing that, and John said I'd like to come along. The RFP that's out, I'm sure a lot of people have read it. I did, and I think what I don't like about it is that it's an about face on where this thing was supposed to go when this prison became unused, decommissioned, and I don't know. I really don't trust what's going on. I'm just going to let you know. I really don't, because the governor wanted some legislation this past legislative session, and she didn't get what she wanted, and getting 800,000 extra houses pushed into towns and villages all across the state, increasing housing capacity and choices, but the legislature didn't want it. So she's taking state property such as this, and she's turning it into an RFP for housing. So we have to be cautious. What's going on? Who's coming in? What do they want to do? I certainly would love it for it to be an economic driver. And everything that was in the original RFP was about community input. I don't really, I see in the wording a bypass of community input purposely written in there. So please do, you say you're watching this, and I'd love to know what you heard, because what I heard I didn't like, and that's not from this tour, but from somebody else, that there is evidently a developer looking at it. It's just a conversational thing, but somebody wants to come there, conversational, anecdotal, and potentially put a couple of hundred housing units in that site. And I'm just hoping that this is not what the governor is going to shove down our throats here in Fishkill. So everybody needs to be vigilant about that, there's no doubt. That's my soapbox for the moment. On August 27th, there's going to be a memorial ceremony for about an hour, 11 to 12, for honoring Lafayette. There's the Roundabout Rural Cemetery is going to be a rededication. Carmine is doing some work on on the monument now at Brinkerhoff Inn has been very gracious to offer a little reception area, so I watch for that in eGov. I also attended the wet down for Chelsea Fire District, and I also attended the naturalization ceremonies. Truly wonderful, people. You've heard the phrase, America is a great place for people around the world to escape to, leaving the horrible situations in so many countries. What was there, 50 countries represented, something like that?
I think 30-something, yeah.
Was it?
It was a lot.
It was a lot of people, and they just were so, I brought tears to my eyes as well. Last thing, the highway will be using the cadets to, I guess, we'll be discussing this tonight in a contract with them, to make sure that the only residents are coming to the townwide cleanup, which is going to be September 16, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Mauer Gearing Park, Fishkill residents only, so I'm very pleased that they have agreed to use the cadets for that purpose to help with traffic and residency requirements, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. I share your concerns with downstate. That downstate facility is currently zoned for 1 house per acre, so by law, they can put up about 90, but if the state builds something, then we have a problem. But be vigilant, everybody. If you hear anything, please let us know so we can stay on top of that. One thing every one of us here at this table shares is that we all work for you. You all hired us to make decisions, to do your will here at the town hall. Most importantly, you all hired us to listen to your voices. That's an obligation we owe you. We swear to it, we take an oath of office, and this isn't my first oath of office. I took one as a soldier, one as a police officer, and I take oaths very seriously. We can never lose sight of the fact that we are the people's representatives. We are put into office to do the people's work and to represent all of our residents and present all sides of the issues. Based on that trust given to us by the voters, it is necessary now to bring their voices forward on this issue and on all the issues to ensure that their opinion on this all matters is heard and considered by this town board, the people's board. We can always agree to disagree, but all sides of every matter must be heard and considered. That's what we're here doing tonight. That's my comment, and we go right into discussion for discussion of appeal and decision of the Blodgett Water District. I know my position. Any other board member has any other comments before we move forward? Louise?
I think we left off at the last meeting, hearing that we did not have capacity, so my opinion has not changed. My opinion actually didn't change when I voted against the water and sewer connection. I'm the only person on the board remaining that voted against that connection, and it was overturned, and I wanted to appeal it, and it was not appealed by this board, by the majority of the people on this board. The supervisor had to abstain. So my feelings have not changed. I think that they don't have capacity. That's part of what they said. The other ones, the unknowns, they haven't even attempted to fix. So the health department issues are separate, but they matter to me more because having no as-built plans and trying to build something concerns me, because I've seen other developments in our town and what happens to them 15, 20 years later, where they fall apart and all the residents get stuck fixing them and paying for them. So I haven't changed. If there's no capacity, I agree with the supervisors requesting that we do.
Any other comments? John?
Okay, my very first question to Ozzy is, are you voting on this resolution?
I think I will.
You will? Okay. Second, Mr. Gaba, did you put together this resolution?
I did not.
Supervisor, did you put together this
Yes.
resolution? You did? Okay. So this resolution is loaded with false information that has been presented to the town board for the sole purpose of creating uncertainty with the residents who live in the Blodgett Water District. It is causing unnecessary anxiety as residents are concerned about the future of their water in terms of both capacity and costs. The title of this resolution, Resolution to Appeal Decision in Blodgett Water District Extension Ruling, is confusing, as our legal counsel has already advised this town board months ago that the time to appeal this ruling has expired. And let's face facts. The meat and potatoes of Ozzie and the former town board denying water to the developer was because the developer did not have approvals from the Dutchess County Board of Health. Well, here we are, years later, thousands of dollars of taxpayer money flushed down the toilet, and an unnecessary lawsuit. We are in the very same place we were when this ordeal originally started. The developer still needs his Board of Health approvals before he can move forward with this project. So what did Ozzie and the former town board accomplish by denying this developer water in the first place? So what now? The new agreement, the new argument is there is no water, a lack of capacity. This resolution states in the fourth whereas, such usage would require the town to either violate the terms of the contractual agreement with the Village of Fishkill or to enter into a new agreement with the Village of Fishkill to purchase additional water at taxpayer costs. Not accurate on both counts. There is no violation in the terms of the contractual agreement with the Village of Fishkill. This agreement already speaks about exceeding the maximum quantity of water usage. There is no violation. And number two, enter into a new agreement with the Village of Fishkill to purchase additional water at taxpayer cost. There is a letter from the Village of Fishkill dated 6/11/2023 that makes it very clear that there's plenty of capacity to service the Continental Commons development that was sent to the planning board. The in-house town engineers, who I've spoken with, have both advised me that there is no capacity issues. They shared the same information with me that they shared with the supervisor. Mr. Supervisor, I seem to understand it. You apparently don't.
Yeah, you're lying, John, because the Blodgett, you're making accusations. The Blodgett Water District does not have the capacity. You're trying to say that you can get the water from somewhere else. And this is a letter from one of the project engineers, and he clearly writes, Blodgett Water District request for water Continental Commons project based on the average use of the most recent years, based on highest quarter DOC requirement, water is used in most recent year 2022 to 2022. The Continental Commons request will exceed the town's contract with the Village of Fishkill by $11,903 per quarter. Both methods of calculation exceed the water purchase agreement in the town of Village. You just mentioned the project manager. The project manager has a letter right here.
Okay. And finally, there is a consolidation being prepared with the Blodgett Water District and the Glenham Water District, which will further ease any capacity issues down the road. Glenham Water District has a capacity of 5 million cubic feet of water per quarter. They currently average close to 3 million cubic feet of water per quarter. So as you can see, there is plenty of water.
That water is not for the Blodgett Water District. He's giving you a little sideshow over here.
The Blodgett Water District
does not have
and the
capacity.
Glenham Water District buy 100% of the water from the Village of Fishkill. There is plenty of water.
They are separate water districts, Mr. Foreman, and you know that.
Right?
Councilwoman, you had a comment?
No, I'm not done.
Oh, keep going.
I don't know what there is to re-argue. The water is available. Why are you insisting on wasting more taxpayer money on frivolous lawsuits?
Well, Councilman, you should...
I'm almost done.
Okay, go on.
You may have been able to persuade the former town board members to follow your lead down a path to the losing end of lawsuits, but I am personally not interested in joining you to once again waste more taxpayer money.
Well, first of all, Councilman Foreman, the town of Fishkill is $8 million richer since I've been supervisor. And number two, you don't pay taxes in Fishkill, so why do you even care? Yeah. Councilman Rye, you have any comments?
That was a cute one.
That's the truth.
Listen, if I lived in that district and I heard what I've heard and amped up issues of you're going to have to pay tons of money and it comes across as a tax increase, I'd be frightened too. You know who else is frightened is a senior citizen that I talked to at the picnic. because he's reading stuff online and he's hearing this information. If it were true, you would have to have a conversation about that, but the water supply is there. That's all there is to it. The infrastructure for the pipes were already extended. I've read all this stuff. I didn't want to read all this stuff about this whole thing, but I've had to educate myself. Infrastructure's there. All Continental Commons has to do is hook up to it, and that takes Dutchess County approval and the town of Fishkill approval for those hookups. That's not going to come out of anyone's pocket but theirs. It's already done. There's an interesting thing also about the Blodgett Water District. It has a $600,000 surplus. So anything that is supposed to go wrong or be taken care of, there's a surplus amount of money that already exists for this water district. By law, we have to connect someone that's in this district. There's not going to be anything, if there is an increase, it's an if, it could be an increase of $650 for the entire district for a year. These are calculations looking at this realistically. This is not trying to take something and just say, we have an issue here that we're going to make sure we drill into your head and make sure that you understand that you have got to come our way. Look, it's a responsibility sitting here. I don't take that lightly. I'm not taking sides. This whole thing about the Friends of the Supply Depot, I remember ages ago people being in my house talking about conversations with Senator Schumer, people talking about going to Washington, D.C. and giving testimony, people writing articles in the New York Times about this whole thing, conversations in my house by people that I trusted to give me the information. I knew nothing about this project, nothing, zip. It was not long after that, I particularly got to know Lance Ashworth, someone familiar to you all, I guess. I helped him. How did I get to know him? I was a part of a roadside cleanup around this project with him, okay? This is during the era that I'm just getting to know what's going on here. Lance was talking to me about property that they also would like to have, the Friends would also like to have up Snook Road, that's owned by a church. I was going to the church at the time. I arranged a meeting, a sit-down meeting with the pastor, Lance and myself, to discuss this. Then I stepped away because I have to leave it up to them. Maybe you guys know what happened to the Snook Road property. Okay. All I did was just facilitate a meeting. So what happens during the course of the years, that's pre-2007, so possibly before you got involved in this. Right. I see one side wanting something, keeping the emotion out of this. I see another side wanting something to build their thing. In the papers, in the press, and everything else, and I stated this before publicly, and I'm stating it again, I didn't want to be involved in this. It turned me off because it got personal. And I know people who took things personally, and by their portrayal, they had a right to. And I can appreciate why they got upset. But videotape all in here all the time of people yelling at each other, okay? Who wants to get involved in that? Do I understand your passion? Look, I'm sitting up here trying to develop something for the 250th anniversary of our country here in the town, okay? I've looked at all the information over there, and I'm not here. By the way, there's 2 lawsuits pending, so I have to watch what I'm saying. This is another responsibility up there. The Friends of the Supply Depot sued the planning board. That got kicked out. Everything that they protested got kicked out. I read the original agreement from resolution preliminary approval from Continental Commons from the planning board.
There's a lot of things that develop.
Okay, and I'm not picking sides. But obviously the planning board, they sued the planning board. Friends lost, Friends are suing again, from what I understand. So, got to watch what we're saying up here. Now, is there still a lawsuit out there for civil rights by the owner of Continental Commons against the town? Why, yes, sir, it is, because it's from this lawsuit. And all of this that I've gone through and I've put highlights on, or how the town didn't have a right to do anything. This is by a judge that is probably quite left of center, but the issues are very plain, they're in black and white. So this is where we are, all right? We're here with, obviously, people that I know that have been impassioned with this for a long time, and they want what they want. God bless, okay?
It's just about passion.
Okay, I got to be careful here, and it's okay. You know, the interest of preserving history is one thing. There's another legal issue going on here, complete legal issue that people who.
Believe me, we know.
Yeah.
We've been accused of it.
Right. So we're caught in that, but let's just bring it down to water capacity and how people are frightened unnecessarily. I talked to the mayor of the village before the last meeting. I talked to the mayor of the village, and I said, tell me what needs to happen here for Blodgett Water District to get more water. Her words to me is all he has to do is make a request for more water capacity. Her words to me. I'm reading statistics here on how much is drawn down right now, how much is left over per New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and how there's tons of water that is there. There is nobody in the Blodgett District that is going to be penalized financially for anything going on. That is my purpose in talking tonight. I want their fears to go away, because that's not what's going to happen.
It is your opinion, and I'm here.
It's not an opinion. It is written. It's just a fact.
Anything could be written.
The Blodgett, there's no making it up. There's no making it up. There's no making it up. So water is there.
No, you can talk in the second part.
And so is there a contract that'll be renegotiated or something? I guess so. I don't really know this issue on how, but I know that it's there. It's the supply's there. The village is in position to sell it. So I don't want people in this district to think that they're going to get pummeled with fees, because it's not going to happen.
The Blodgett Water District, as of today, according to the project manager that Councilman Foreman mentioned, does not have water capacity. You guys are discussing where we can get the water from. That's a different argument. Tonight is about the capacity of the Blodgett Water District, and we don't have the water capacity right now. That's the bottom line.
Can be
renegotiated. That's the bottom line.
My turn. Hold on. Hold on.
And we've already paid money into this.
Hold on. I'm going to defer to Mr. Gaba, because Mr. Gaba is our representative that's supposed to give us legal counsel and direction on issues like this. This is very important, because we are getting sued by the Friends, and we are getting sued by Continental Commons. We're getting sued by both parties. We're sitting here being sued by both ends. So we have to be careful what we say, and according to our town attorney, we should not be talking about this right now in front of the public. This should be done in executive session. Hold on, I'm not done.
That's fine.
Let me finish.
That's fine.
Mr. Gaba, you requested us to what? And please speak up so everybody can hear you, so everybody understands about this situation, so we can be educated and stop this insane going back and forth.
Listen, there are a lot of issues here, okay? But the issue before the board tonight is a resolution calling for an appeal in the GLD3 lawsuit against the town over extension of the water district. Under New York State law, an appeal has to be taken within 30 days of when the order at issue is served with notice of entry. The order at issue was served on September 22nd, 2022. So the time to appeal has expired. That time period cannot be extended. It's a hard deadline. So the resolution you have before you to take an appeal is something that cannot be done. Now, if the board wants to discuss water capacity or other issues pertaining to this, that's the board's prerogative. But the one thing I can tell you is this resolution, if enacted, won't accomplish anything. That appeal cannot be taken.
Are you done, Carmen?
No. So preserving history is one of my goals. I take it personal. I'm a member of the Fishkill Historical Society. And Rob and everybody out there, what you're saying, I take it to the heart tremendously. 8 generations ago, my grandparents, my grandfather fought. Civil War, Revolutionary War, you name it, my family's been there. So I take it to the heart. But also, I have an obligation to withhold the law and follow the law. And I hope you guys all understand that. This board, myself, 2019, when the planning board approved this site, and then we had these lawsuits, Friends, Continental Commons, I look at it, researching. I've been on this board for like 19 months, 20 months. I've learned tremendous. I did research. My thing is, and to everybody here and everybody looking, is that I follow the guidance of our attorney to protect the citizens of Fishkill. And I understand I'm not protecting the builder, I'm not protecting the Friends, I'm not protecting anybody but the whole town of Fishkill. And I'm going to go off the legal advice of my attorney, and my attorney says this resolution we cannot do. So I don't even know why it's even on the agenda tonight. All it does is create more chaos, and it becomes a political-driven agenda item.
Can I reply?
Council.
Can I reply? Yeah. Can I reply? to
Yes, ma'am.
other- All right, I have a lot to reply to from what was said. I'll just start with Councilmember Foreman's remarks, and I've heard him say it before, meat and potatoes. There were no meat and potatoes. He's correct. There were water and sewer issues, not meat and potatoes. And to say that it was a waste of taxpayers' money to try and defend the right thing is pretty sad to hear from somebody who's an elected official. I was never swayed to do anything, and anybody who knows me knows that I do my homework, and I make sure that I make the right decisions for the people, not for developers, for the people. Because I've seen our town, and I've seen what happens when developers don't do the right thing, like Toll Brothers, I'll just say it, we've corrected it, I'll take back the word toll, like another developer in our town. That's what I'm afraid was going to end up happening. I'm still afraid that's what's going to end up happening, because these other issues that you're talking about with the Department of Health, they're not addressed. They haven't even been looked into since 2019. That's like on the back burner. It should have been the reason that we were able to stop it. And I have to get reference to when I hear the council member tell me about the appeal and the judge's decision. I didn't agree with the judge's decision. I don't think she understood that there was 2 separate boards with different people on the boards, and she just thought it was one continuous flow of it. So I don't think that, respectfully, her decision was the right decision, because what she did was, she gave the 3 people on this board the opportunity to let them hook up to the water and sewer district. Once you said yes to hooking them up to the water and sewer district, we are now bound to give them water and sewer. So if you didn't do that, we could have addressed these issues as they should have been addressed in the 2019 memo from the prior, what's his name? The prior, no, this one's from Mr. Andrews, the prior engineer. I have issue with this memo from 2019, April 29, 2019. And there are things in here that have been referred to me in the past and from the lawsuits that were going on, that they say, here, you see this, you see this? Yes, I do. Do you see the second page? The second page is where the proposed conditions are, the next steps. So to say that they think that they had the capacity, in my opinion, is not true, but that's what we were told. And like I said no because of all the unknowns. These unknowns are not just going to get done. They have to attach. It's a non-contiguous district. They have to make sure the health department all the checklists of things that they have to have done are going to be done. I said it, I'll say it again. There are no as-built plans. This was from a project 20 years ago that was supposed to be hooked up, and it wasn't hooked up. I can understand the judge's thoughts of maybe saying that this should be hooked up. You know, if you're having a project, you can hook it up and then tell them, once they get everything done with the Department of Health, then it's okay. But I would think that that would be for a new development, a brand-new development, that you're putting pipes in the ground and checking them and making sure that everything is good. That's not this. So I had the same opinion that I've had, and for Councilmember Rye, where he says, I don't like to pick sides, I pick sides. I'm going to pick the side with the citizens and what's right for the people in our town. So, I'm not afraid to do the right thing.
I'm talking about the size of the lawsuit, and you know that.
No, actually, I don't know that.
Yeah, well,
because
you do. Well,
I'm not-
now you're corrected.
Brian, when I'm done speaking, you can speak, I'd appreciate that. So, I also have a question for Councilmember Rye, if he plans on voting tonight, because I've said this in a previous one, but I'm going to read my question. Councilmember Rye has a conflict of interest in favor of the developer and should abstain from voting on any matter pertaining to Blodgett Water District extension request for Continental Commons. He failed to be transparent and disclose to the board and the public at a meeting in, I believe it was last September, when we voted to appeal the judge's decision or not. If he abstained, the vote to accept the judge's ruling would not have gone through. I only found out this information recently when Councilmember Foreman requested that we join the Chamber of Commerce, and I read the entire Chamber website and found out that Councilmember Rye is on the Legislative Action Committee, which the LAC, Legislative Action Committee goal for the town of Fishkill are to support Continental Commons. The former Continental Commons lawyer was also, and is also, a member of the Legislative Action Committee with Councilmember Rye. So looking for solutions to expedite the building process was one of the things that the Legislative Action Committee was doing. If he wants to deny it all, any of you can go back and read it. It's on the website in black and white. I handed out handouts a couple of meetings ago. You can read it on the website. So I don't think that Councilmember Rye should be voting on anything tonight, because any of the item agenda, from removing it or for voting, because he has a conflict of interest, whether he wants to believe it or not. I hear that you don't want to get involved in certain things. I hear other things, but it's a fact. You're on a Legislative Action Committee that has a goal to push Continental Commons through. So as far as I'm concerned with you, I don't think you should vote. I'm not done yet, almost done. Let me just check and see what the other words were. By law, developers, protecting our citizens. I just have to say, like I've said before, it's our responsibility. It's our duty to make sure that the decisions we make, and they're not a decision that I'm swayed by anybody, because trust me, I'm never swayed by anyone. I do my homework and I make my decisions myself. So I don't agree with it. And when we come down to the question of, you might be offended here, but I'm going to say it. I didn't choose this attorney. The 3 board members who voted not to appeal this decision chose this attorney. I don't really feel that our representation, when we were trying to fight that fight, was the best that I could have had. I would have preferred to have Mr. Nugent, our prior attorney. That didn't happen. If we did, I think we could have been sitting here with a different determination, but we're not. But the end result is, do they have capacity? No. Are you pregnant or you're not pregnant? So that's the question. They don't have it. We need to do something about it and not just sit back and let the problems continue. And it's not a waste of money to protect what we should be protecting: the citizens, the water, and the sewer problems in our town.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman Daniele. And I hear every...
I was addressed in her comments.
Let Brian go first.
Sorry, Brian, go ahead. You're first. I apologize.
Legislative Action Committee, the only time I've heard that that's a scandalous thing to be a part of is only from you. I will say that there are so many Legislative Action Committees and other groups that I'm a part of in multiple chambers of commerce and organizations in business development for the company I work for throughout the Hudson Valley. And I will say that also for me, for my integrity to be impugned like that, with the implication being that I'm so happy to be a part of this because they're pushing Continental Commons. Oh, goody, no. I'm telling you right now, that is one of the, there's no basis in fact for that. You're taking what you see on the website, you are stretching it out to make an emotional appeal, and I will tell you this, in any meeting with anyone at any time throughout my tenure, because I have a responsibility. Whenever that came up, I would say, no comment. I cannot get involved in any conversation. That is my word, and there's nothing you can do about that. I will say also, I guarantee you that when someone brings up Continental Commons, and we're not supposed to be talking about it, you probably are, and you probably have nothing but negative things to say about it. I will say that I would make sure that I recuse myself in any conversation and would not participate. And how many times would that have come up? I can't even count. Maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 2. I don't know. But the main thing about the Legislative Action Committee is it's a resource of information to get to know where there are some things going on where I can plug in my company to hopefully do some business throughout the Hudson Valley. That's my job. That's what you do in business development.
Ozzy, are you going to go or I'm going to go? You want to go?
No, you go, Louise.
Okay, thanks. It doesn't make a difference if I'm for or against Continental Commons. Everybody can have their opinion about Continental Commons. I may agree with some people on their opinion. The matter before the town board is about water and sewer. You seem to like to blend that in to make me sound like I'm somehow a part of a big conspiracy with people to try and save history. This is about water and sewer, and that is what it's about. When I'm talking about the Legislative Action Committee, you're telling me you didn't say it when they voted on it? You didn't tell the public when you voted to not appeal it that you were on the committee, and I have it here, so, you know, you want to keep repeating it, I'll keep repeating it.
Go right ahead. I don't care. It's on my LinkedIn page.
Can you please wait until I'm done speaking?
Go to my LinkedIn page.
Please wait until I'm done speaking.
I'm not hiding anything.
Again. So
I'm not hiding anything.
I'm not done speaking, so I'm almost done. So the Legislative Action Committee, these are the handouts I handed out a couple of meetings ago. For some people, they ended up in the garbage pail because nobody wanted to hear it. So I'm going to say it again, because I have them here, and like I said, people can look it up on the website. Legislative Action Committee. Here's a list of the people in the committee, right here. I even highlighted it for everybody. There is an attorney that's from Cuddy and Fetter. I won't say her name, but people know who she used to be. She used to be Mr. Broccoli's attorney for Continental Commons. So circled in green is Brian's name. On the other pages, because you can look at them, it says Planning Board, County and Local Issues, Planning Board Streamlining Relief Collaboration. We are looking for a solution to expedite the building process. Planning boards have made it extremely difficult and have proven very costly to do business in Dutchess County. And they have a list of each town and what they want people to focus on in each town to help get them through. And for Fishkill, it's Continental Commons. So no matter what you want to say, you're on a committee that's trying to push it through. You didn't tell the people, and you voted to not appeal it. So whatever it is you want to say, whatever it is you want to believe in your mind, it's in black and white, and you should have abstained, and you should abstain tonight, and your other remarks about Continental Commons have nothing to do with water and sewer. My views, my opinions, like everyone in this audience and everybody on this board, are just that. They're their opinions. I'm here to make decisions about water and sewer. That's it.
Brian, last word on this.
There are no opinions. I'm going by numbers here. I'm not responsible for what the Dutchess Chamber puts on their website, what they choose to promote. They promote everything. You had a union member here. They promote union engagement. They promote everything, non-for-profits. I'm not in charge of what they do. I'm there to gather info so I can help a company I work for. That's my last word.
And you shouldn't be in committees if you
Excuse
don't.
me, I thought it was over with. Are we going to continue debating? We can do that if you want.
So, hold on. Listen, point of order. I'm calling a point of order because we're getting off track.
No, wait, are you abstaining, Brian? Are you abstaining from the vote, Brian?
No, I'm not.
That's a shame. Yeah, that should be done. That should be obviously to the public that that's a conflict of interest.
An issue that you're trying to make.
Black and white people.
So we're going back to what I originally said. Mr. Gaba just mentioned, Mr. Gaba, can you repeat what you just said a couple minutes ago? I want to hear it one more time.
Regarding the inability to appeal the order that's at issue, That's what you want to hear?
Yeah, what you just said a couple seconds ago.
All right, I think
Because
the
we got
board
off
remembers
track and talking about...
We got new evidence here. We didn't have this information
No.
before.
Mr. Gabbard, can you please repeat that one more time?
That under New York state law, a notice of appeal must be filed within 30 days of service of an order to be appealed with notice of entry. The order at issue was served in September of 2022. The time to appeal has expired. To be clear, I don't know that Ozzy's office had that information when this resolution was drafted. I don't think there's nefarious intent here. What I'm telling you is, you cannot adopt this resolution as written.
You mentioned if there was new business, we could do this, if there was new information that came out at the June, I believe, the June meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Garber, did you also not say a few meetings ago, if there was a slim possibility of any type of fraud, then that we could move forward? Did you, yes or no?
Hold on, wait, you guys just keep on cutting me off.
No, I asked him a question.
No, I asked a
Go ahead,
question, I
Carmen,
wasn't
I'm fine.
finished.
Go ahead.
What's very important here is that this is, and I want everybody to understand, this is what I'm voting on, what are, not based on something that's hit in front of me that I'm hearing two sides. I'm voting on what Mr. Gaba, our town attorney, is telling us to do. This is not even a resolution.
Mr. Garber, can you answer my question? A couple of meetings ago, did you say there was a chance to appeal something, a slight chance if there was any type of potential fraud?
No, I did not, Louise. What
Oh,
I
we
said
can go back
was
to the
a
record.
motion to renew could be brought on newly discovered evidence.
There you go.
And as you know, as I've
you go.
advised this, well, I don't want to talk about litigation strategy in open session. If you wish to discuss those things, I'll be happy to do it in closed session.
I make a motion to go in executive session because there's things I can't say that's going to have potentially put us in, we have two lawsuits against the town right now, one from the Friends and one from Continental Commons. I make a motion to go into executive session.
For what purpose?
Are we voting first?
For purpose of,
I think we should do that. Let's go into executive session prior to the resolution. We got along, we'll do it. We'll do it.
I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote until we go to executive
We're
session.
going to skip, we got all this to get done, and we'll have that last.
I'll accommodate that. Fine.
To accommodate
Yes.
that? Okay.
What?
Wait till after the consent agenda, then we're going to executive
I
session.
think that's the way to handle it.
It'll be, we're going to skip,
As the last thing of their...
yeah, we got a big meeting.
And then come out, and
The
then
last
come
thing
back
we'll
out.
do it. All right, so next thing up, next up is discussion of appointing a part-time affordable housing director. I still haven't got any information on that. Can we table that to second meeting in November, please?
Let me get my phone started.
Next up is discussion of Roundabout Rural Cemetery Association funding request. Are we okay with this?
Yes, I think we were last time.
What was it, 1,500, 2,000? I forgot, I'm sorry.
15.
1,500?
Yeah.
Do I have to do a resolution for this, Mr. Gallo?
Yes, you do.
So I have to do a resolution, so remind me to do a resolution on this one. Next up, discussion of financial disclosure. Anybody any comments with this?
No.
What are we doing with
Make-
having a resolution for the next meeting on?
I'm going to make a resolution to give the $1,500 to the
Right.
Fishkill.
I thought we were doing that. I thought we were
Yeah,
doing
9/6.
Yeah,
I
I think it just
apologize.
was- I think it was
Just a
an oversight.
resolution.
I think it was an oversight.
All right, everybody okay with the discussion of financial disclosure?
Yes.
Next up is discussion of resolution to accept monetary donation for the police department. Everybody okay with that? Somebody made a donation to the police department? We're good?
Yes.
Next. Yep.
think they're on
Consent.
Consent.
Number 6, discussion of resolution to accept resignation of police officer Jason Edwards. Everybody okay with consent?
Yes.
Next one, another officer, Martens. Everybody okay with that? Consent?
Yes.
Next up is the discussion of resolution budget modification to 2023 TO Town outside village adopted budget insurance recovery for a vehicle. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Consent? Number 9, discussion of resolution to enter into intermunicipal agreement for the Town of Fishkill Police Department to join the Dutchess County J Fire Program. Consent, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Consent, ma'am? Number 10, discussion of resolution to declare items surplus in the police department. That's in consent, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Number 11, discussion of adopting negative declaration on the Merritt Bickerhoff Water Interconnection Project. Everybody okay with that?
Yep. Yes.
Consent. Number 12, similar to the same thing, a resolution approving the Bickerhoff Merritt Interconnection. Consent, everybody okay with that?
Yes. Oh, that's ARPA money, right?
Yeah, well,
That's
we're close to getting the bid. We actually had yesterday, we have to get through DEC, the Health Department, and DOT, and sent information to both those entities. They came back with some questions. We followed up with that, and now it's back to them. So this bureaucracy is just a waste of
Wait,
time.
for ARPA, some ARPA?
I'm going to use hopefully most of it, hopefully everything for ARPA.
Okay.
Next up, discussion of police radios.
Oh, wait, no.
I apologize. The green dump?
Cadets.
Cadets. What did I skip?
13.
Okay. Discussion of resolution authorizing agreement between the town of Fishkill and police cadets for contract service regarding the green dump. Now, Brian, that's when they're working, we're going to make a donation to their...
Well, this is the previous agreement, is they would work for there's a line item in the highway budget, and so they would work against that amount that's in there at $10 an hour. So that amount has not been used for a couple of years for whatever reason. So we've raised it to 12, and they will send to Highway a bill for the amount of people cadets that are working on site for this event, and then it just gets paid to the non-for-profit organization for the cadets. That's how it all works. So.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Consent? Number 13, the consent. Number 14, just a discussion of police radios. We have some low spots. Dutchess County just came out with a report that within 2 years, they're going to redo the entire system. I'm okay with waiting 2 years for the county unless anybody else wants to move on improving the radios before that.
No, the chief's doing a lot of work to improve what he has now, and I agree that we need to wait and go with the countywide system, which is going to now enable some of these police departments to communicate where they can't now.
Outstanding.
So,
outstanding.
Small issue.
All right, so close that out. Number 14, close out. Discussion of police radios, close that out.
Okay.
Number 15, discussion of ceremony and observance of anniversary of September 11th. I don't know what you guys want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I remember wasn't there a recognition ceremony out here where we did that out here 2 years ago? Wasn't there a 9/11 ceremony?
We did one for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We do it, then we go to the village or vice versa.
Yes.
So
What
what
do you want
is
to
it
set
that you're interested in doing? Something expanded, or what are you?
No, we did a pretty big one for the 20th anniversary. I'm looking maybe get some cadets there or something like that.
Well, exactly. Sure.
Can you get that done?
Yeah.
All right, let's get some cadets, we'll lay a wreath and say some prayers, and...
That's it.
Okay.
Invite the Veterans Committee.
Thank you, sir. Invite the Veterans Committee. There you go, perfect.
In the 9/11 first responders.
So we don't have to do anything, so just take number 15 off, close that.
Okay.
And Brian will work on that.
Okay.
Number 16, discussion of tree ordinance. Louise and Carmine, you had an issue? Carmine?
Yes, I'm not sure if it was my mistake or Greg's, but we accidentally put the wrong tree felling law. It was actually, that was our phase 1. Phase 2 was supposed to be on there because we've been working on it. Louise, Daniele, myself, and the Cantor. So we've actually made some progress. So I would like to table that until
And that's in the consent, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take it out when we get to
We'll take
consent.
it out.
Sorry.
It's all right.
You wanted to change something too, right? We'll work with John.
Yeah.
Table it to just the next meeting, because it'll be fixed, right?
No, it won't
How about the one after
actually.
that? Like the end of September? maybe?
Mr. Gavin, when's good for you?
Push it off until second meeting in September.
Yeah, that's good.
I have to integrate the previously prepared tree law with the revised tree law, and then I have to put it in the format of a single local law. It isn't terribly difficult to do, but it takes quite a bit of word processing to get everything right, so you got to give me a little time on that.
So-
The second September meeting should be just fine.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're combining the timber harvesting with the tree law. We're doing a kind of preservation, but it's very smart, and I think it's a very good package we're putting together.
Especially with the help from John Cantor. Thank you.
Okay, so in advance, that'll be number 18 on the consent that we're going to remove. All right, so 16, number 17, discussion of resolution to appoint part-time police
Are they
officers.
here tonight?
I'm sorry?
Are they here?
I didn't see them.
No, they're not here tonight. The chief couldn't be here, and unfortunately, they couldn't show up.
Number 17, discussion of resolution to appoint part-time police officers. Everybody okay with consent?
Yes.
Next up is discussion of resolution to appoint Ms. LaGrange as full-time police assistant. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, she's taking the midnight shift voluntarily, so amen.
God bless her.
Amen to her.
So that's consent. Number 19, discussion of resolution to hire recreation staff for various programs.
I have a question. So the woman that was here tonight, is that the woman who was going to be the police assistant?
No,
Because
I thought she was
heard her
rec.
say.
She was rec.
Correct.
She's rec.
Yeah.
I didn't see her on the list. Is she on the list that we have here?
It says discussion of
Yeah.
resolution. Yeah, that's it right
Yeah, I
now.
don't see her on the list in the agenda, the list of people we're hiring. What is she going to be hired for?
She said that.
Okay, no, she just said, what did she say?
Assistant Director.
She said, yeah,
Should thank
I don't
us
think I
for
got the
hiring her.
after-school part of it. That's
Okay,
fine.
we're good?
Yep,
All
we're
right.
good.
So next up, 19, what you just said, discussion resolution, hire recreation staff for various programs. Everybody okay with that in consent?
Yes.
Next up is discussion resolution to amend the town of Fishkill fee schedule for rec. Everybody okay with that, consent?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Next up is privilege of the floor for agenda items. Then we're going to do a consent agenda, and then we're going to go into executive session. So anybody can speak right now about agenda items only. No, you can't ask a board member a question. You can make comments
You
only.
can come up and speak. You have to come up.
You can speak to the board. You can,
You asked about the property that used to be owned by the church on Snook Road.
Yeah.
That is now owned by Davis Fowler Group LLC of Wappingers Falls. They have a proposal to put a hotel on there, a 4-story hotel next to 84. And they have so far dumped so much dirt, which I have been told they don't need a permit for, like mounds of dirt. You can see them from 84, and they didn't need to do any sort of environmental plan for it. Just so that you're aware of what.
Well, I appreciate that. The church owned it.
Yes,
and
the
they
church
could
owned
not-
it when I moved in over a decade ago.
They couldn't-
They did not
They couldn't-
build a church.
Yeah,
They-
no.
And then they
I know-
sold it, and then they put
No, they didn't
flyers in
sell
my
it.
mailbox about the hotel they wanted to
Yeah.
build.
Yeah, no, they
I
didn't.
have pictures of it.
They didn't
somewhere.
sell it. The people graciously took it back because they were holding the paper on the property. So that got the church off that financial hook, which is what they needed to have happen because that was a bad mistake on their part. But
Just so that you are aware and have that question
Yeah.
answered for your next big issue. You know,
well, the hotel would need a zoning variance.
like, because it's zoned residential.
Yes, but it would need a zoning variance from the town board, this board, and that's something that I would not do.
I'm not
Just to let you
interested
know that.
either.
And I'm not either.
Yeah. It's got to be agenda items only.
Well, I was asked before, Mr. Foreman asked me about the information about $250.
Yes.
So I didn't have it in front of me at the time. This is from publicreportingelections.ny.gov. January 2nd, 2012, you received $250, Friends of John Foreman.
11 years ago?
Yeah, well, this has been going on a
Yeah.
long time, and I asked you
Yeah.
if you ever received money. You
And
said
I said,
no.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's exactly what I said.
You know now.
You asked me, you want me to remember something from 11 years ago?
I can remember things from 11
Okay.
years ago.
How much was your electric bill 3 months ago?
My election
Yeah,
bill.
your electric bill.
My electric bill 3 months ago was
11 years ago, I'm
$50.
supposed to remember that?
It's
11 years ago?
$50, I remember.
Okay.
Okay.
You gotta be
years
kidding
ago.
me. We're
All right.
talking about 10 years this thing's been going on.
11 years ago.
Don't tell me that you don't remember. Give me a break.
Yeah, okay.
I told you the information is there.
Okay.
So don't say you
Congratulations.
don't have it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, great.
Mr. Beister.
Dirt.
Get up to the mic.
Got piled up on that property, is anybody to check? Is it in conformance with the, it's within within a certain distance from the town water supply? Is that an infiltration area? Does anybody check that out? I just heard her say, the lady say that there was no kind of permit required.
I went through the town code, there's nothing that prevents somebody from bringing dirt into their property.
Yeah, but how about affecting the?
I looked through all that stuff, I didn't see anything. The town code is online also, if anybody wants to look through it.
And there's one more question I might as well bring up at this point, putting dirt down at the end of Jackson Street in the, they're working on some kind of sewer project, but you go continuing further from the satellite picture, they've piled up stuff that's in the floodplain. And I think someone should look at that to see if that's.
Are you talking about the village, in the village of Fishkill? Where are you talking about?
I'm talking about going down the end of Jackson Street, going through the work that they're doing into the
Is that the
lot
agenda,
that's
Mr. Vice Chair?
adjacent to the river, to the creek.
Okay.
And then you go in there and you turn west.
It's got to be an agenda item right now. That's not on the agenda, I'm sorry, Mr. Beister. It was brought to my attention by another board member.
It's what?
It's not an agenda item. Right now, it's only agenda
Oh,
items.
okay.
I apologize.
I'll talk to you about it, Mr. Bryson.
Okay. Anybody else for agenda item only? Ms. LaGoy?
So, what I'm hearing is a mixture of arrogance, accusations, and, you know, when you said, Mr. Rye, that Louise was coming at you with an emotional accusation, it really kind of strikes me as very funny, because at the last meeting, Councilwoman gave each and every one of you copies of information, facts. Mr. Foreman scoffed and threw it in the garbage, didn't even look at it. At least I give you credit, you didn't throw it out. But you came with accusations, your creative writing, I'm doing this, I don't want to get involved. So when you say, well, I have refrained from any comment when people discuss things, I don't get involved, you have repeatedly said, I don't want to take sides, I don't want to get involved, and yet you are involved. You live here. You are a representative. And the people are coming to you.
That's not the full meeting.
With a request to act
Right.
legally.
And I'm good with that.
And so don't interrupt me.
Well, you're
Please.
addressing me and telling me what I'm saying.
But you're
so-
interrupting me, so you'll
But I
have a
know, but you're
moment.
addressing me and telling me what I'm saying, and it's not accurate, so.
So when we have, you know, you're saying, oh, and this isn't just you, but, you know, there's this big debate about, well, it's, you know, you had all these figures written down, and it's your interpretation of it. Mr. Gaba's final word at the end of the last meeting, when you asked, so we're clear, we're okay with the water, and Mr. Gaba said, there is a water capacity issue, so I guess we're pregnant. I mean, give me a break. And, you know, to say, well, I don't remember who gave me campaign money, I can understand that. You have a lifelong, you and your family have a lifelong history here. You have a lot of connections, you have a lot of relationships, and I don't fault you for that. That's not what I'm getting at. But I find it very, very difficult to believe that there's not some sort of knowledge that this developer supports you. As far as Councilman Rye, and you're with this group that you're on, the committee that you're on. Let me finish,
At the Dutchess
please.
Chamber, I'm helping you because you were stumbling. I thought I was being of help.
Thank you. So,
I thought I was being
what-
helped.
holy Christ, stop, would you stop it, please?
Point of order, just.
You know, seriously.
Agenda items, Ann.
To actually say, and this is an agenda item, to actually say that you don't have a conflict of interest and to diminish or try to diminish, well, we don't really talk about Continental Commons. You don't have control over what the Chamber of Commerce has on their website. That's true. That's true. But you do have control over your own actions and over your own participation in that committee, which clearly states they support Continental Commons. That is a conflict of interest because your decision impacts the rest of us.
Agenda item questions, please, only?
It wasn't until it was pointed out that it's on the website, did I ever know that that was on the website, so.
It doesn't matter if you knew it was on the website.
Okay.
You know that
Thank
your
you.
committee is pushing for a certain project.
They're
And
pu-
if you don't know that, you shouldn't be on the committee.
They're pushing, thank you for yelling, I appreciate that, Ann, I do.
You're quite welcome.
You know, I mean, we've been around, We've been around each other for years, decades. You don't need to talk to me that way. I'm not talking to you that way, okay? It's not necessary.
Anybody else for agenda items only? All right, I'm going to close that out. Next up is the consent agenda. I'll make a motion to accept, accept the consent agenda.
Wait, one change for, number 3
apologize.
has to be police.
I got it.
Police department instead of highway,
What?
for the consent agenda, the title,
Which one?
number 3,
Number 3? Oh, yeah.
The
You told me that
surplus.
before.
change police department.
Okay, hold on a second,
Yeah.
hold on a second. Police, so I make a motion to amend the consent agenda number 3 from police,
No,
from
no.
highway to police.
Yep.
And then remove number 18, so Mr. Gabbard can redo the law.
Can I just say something?
Oh, no, I present that as a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're done with it, we're done with that. All right.
Read your resolutions number 15, because that clearly speaks of tonight.
Okay. Thank you. I know you want to go into executive session, but can we skip the resolution and go to the item of specific consideration and clear it out, and then we'll have that last thing?
Are we
Do
coming
that?
back out of executive
So I'm going to skip the resolution and do the rest of this while we're here. We got 3 items for special consideration. The first one is a resolution to adopt the budget for auction proceeds for a vehicle. Everybody okay with that?
Where are we now?
I'm on special considerations.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby amends the 2023 TOV B fund adopted budget by a total amount of $19,270 as attached, so we got some money back on the vehicle for 19 grand. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second? Second. John, all in favor?
Aye.
Next up is another resolution for the senior citizen trip. It's going to be, how much is this one? $16,000 for a senior trip. They would get reimbursed. Now therefore be resolved, the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby amends the 2023 recreation CR fund budget by a total amount of $16,000 as attached. I present this motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, my last consent agenda is it's a discussion and resolution for the town to go into an agreement with the Wappinger Central School District for police coverage. On September 7th, 2022, the town board voted to execute an intermunicipal agreement between the Fishkill and Wappinger School Districts for coverage for Brickhoff Elementary. The town board discussed a proposed intermunicipal agreement to extend supplemental police coverage to the Brickhoff Elementary School through the 23-24 year. Everybody okay with that as a discussion?
Yes.
Can we go to resolution?
Yes.
Resolution be resolved that the town board hereby approves the terms and authorizes the town supervisor to execute an intermunicipal co-op agreement pursuant to General Municipal Law 119 dash, is that O? Between the town of Fishkill and the Wappinger Central School District for the 2023-2024 school year for the supplemental police coverage at the Brickhoff Elementary School as presented to the town board. This means I present this as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Louis, you got any new on old business? Can we skip it?
No, I'm going to make an no, I don't. I'm good.
You good? New on old business, you guys good?
No,
new,
okay, go on.
old, I got new. Go on. Good job first.
I'm good.
Since the project of a new warehouse at the end of the Home Depot section of buildings has pulled out, for whatever reason they decided to pull out, we're now still left with a dilapidated, pathetic site that we get to stare at again and again and again. I've done a ride-along with the police multiple times in this town. A couple of them have taken me around there. There's drug issues, there's breaking in, who knows what's going on there, there's trash. So whoever owns that property now needs to clean it up, make it look good, do what they need to do for fencing, whatever else. I'm really tired of looking at it, and I don't know where we can go with making that happen, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, follow with me later. And listen, these guys negotiate like this, the deals close and they come back, they get flamed back up. The prospective owner's got like $700,000 invested into this, so,
I understand.
Yeah, he does.
I understand it's interest rates that prevented us from going forward, you know, and so maybe they will come back, but I mean, we can't just leave, okay. You know, I'm tired of it.
So, let's see what we can do about that. Once you write me something up, and I'll send it to the property owner.
Okay.
All right? Okay, I have nothing. Next town board meeting, what did we say, September 6th?
We're not closing out though.
No, we're going to go in executive session, and then we'll come back. So I make a motion to leave the regular course of business and go into executive session. Can I have a second?
Second.
And we're going into, for what?
To discuss litigation.
We'll discuss litigation. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll be back in a little
Need a
bit.
break, 2 minutes.
Who's second that? Ozzy? Carmine?
Carmine.
What?
2-minute break.
Ozzy. We are now 10:05, time close, return to regular order of business.
John made a motion, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up is resolution to appeal decision of Bellagio Water District Extension.
I make a motion to table this resolution, and I'm going to base it on a letter that I got from the town planning board. And the letter states, this letter will confirm that the Village of Fishkill water system, PWS number 1302765, has a capacity to provide the additional 18,000 gallons of water you're requesting for your project of Route 9 in the town of Fishkill. The Village of Fishkill has New York State DEC maximum permitted withdrawal of 4.2 million gallons per day. Our maximum day withdrawal from 2022 was 2.7 million gallons. So you could see that the 18,000 gallons additional usage would have very little effect on the village system. The site of your project has been served by the village system for decades, and the village looks forward to serving the site in the future, whether under the Bellagio District contract or as a direct customer to the village. Sincerely, Dave Morrison from the village. And that's my reason for tabling this at this point.
I'd request that Councilmember I abstain from voting for the obvious reasons that he has a conflict of interest that I've stated numerous times, and especially tonight.
I second Carmine's motion.
Okay, right now, there is no capacity, there is not enough capacity in the Bellagio Water District. That's a hypothetical that they would provide service. So, roll call vote to table it to the second meeting of November.
Okay. Councilmember Daniele?
Nay.
Councilmember Istvan?
Yes.
Councilmember Foreman?
Yes.
Councilmember Rye?
Yes.
Supervisor Alborough?
No. Next town board meeting is what, September 6th?
Yep.
Thank you all for coming.
I'm sorry, on that motion, you say November or December?
November.
Second November
I
meeting.
thought it was December.
I thought it was December, too.
I apologize. First December meeting.
First December meeting?
Sure.
I think that's what was said.
Thank you all for coming and participating. Thank you for going out and get those petitions. You were heard. You were able to speak freely today. And this will be brought up back in December because the town board wanted to push it then. Thank you all for coming again. Thank you for watching. Next board meeting is September 6th. Yep. Make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Thanks again, everyone, for coming.
Good job.
Thank you.